heart of gold, but ready to fight. Standing tall, doing what's right. Shining truth like a firelight. Daddy's wisdom running deep taught me promises I gotta keep. Breaking chains, leaving pain behind. Calling out the crooked kind. Oh, the truth cuts through the lies. No more secrets in disguise. Second chances, they wear thin. Spawn trooper rides again. Ain't no fear when I'm around. Justice stands on solid ground. One last chance to make it right, or face the reckoning tonight. In the dark where shadows creep, truth rings out, it cuts so deep. Ain't no price to make me sell. Standing strong, I know too well. Oh, the truth cuts through the lies. No more secrets in disguise. Second chances, they wear thin. Spawn trooper rides again. Dark where shadows creep, truth rings out, it cuts so deep. Ain't no price to make me sell. Standing strong, I know too well. Oh, the truth cuts through the lies. No more secrets in disguise. Second chances, they wear thin. Spawn trooper rides again.
Warning: the following video contains strong language, which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only. Thank you for your attention. Well, Philip, not that much. Hi, Philip, Robert, Diana, David, Debbie. Oh, Vicky, she never says hi. Hi, how's everyone doing? It's going to be a very interesting one today. Oh boy, it's going to be a good one today. Am I going to play some tunes? Maybe. Don't know yet. See what happens. But yes, the KRAMPONS, aka the Fleas, aka the Walruses, aka Lisa Ribisi and Tori Jones and Robert or Robbie or what a fucking idiot, Kersey. Anyway, I've been watching people posting and going on and thinking that they've won and the delusional grandeur. Now, for anybody who knows, and you can do a little bit of research on this, and it's entirely up to you if you do it. 1 second, I need to do this myself. Okay. Right. Here's a funny part first. Hi, Kirby. How you doing? Hi, Debbie. Right. Here's the funny bit. Right. First of all, today I went to the bathroom. Right. Because obviously we do go to the bathroom. On my way out, I opened the door, and I don't know why, but I ended up richly booting the door frame, and fuck me, did it hurt. And it turns out that I've basically partially ripped off my toenail and probably broken my toe, because it's various different colors. It's very painful, but hey, house picker. Anyway, so oh, it was funny. It was funny. I must admit, you have to laugh sometimes when you hurt yourself. And because I've got a high pain threshold, yeah. Anyway. So today, or tonight, I hope everyone's having a good Saturday, by the way. There's a couple of things I want to bring up. Now, when I first got involved in this, how can I put it? When I first got involved in this, for me, it was about the truth, the difference between truth and lie. Right? There wasn't anything else. There wasn't anything about, oh, I'm better than you, which we've seen. There are a couple of people out there who definitely need some psychological help, but that's their choice. That's their problem, not mine. And I've covered the fleas multiple times. All you have to do is go through the live streams, go through and just find them. But I've covered them on multiple occasions. In fact, they've even mentioned me a couple of times, which is quite weird. But the fact that I called them out on a lot of shit and they panicked and, they started going off on one. Hi, Mama John. Pardon me. To this day, there's still no proof where any of that money went. But they are making mistakes. They're making small mistakes, and we're going to be talking about these mistakes. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is a portrait. I think they took this picture when they were down at Otter Creek on that property. And as you can see, left is Tori, right is Lisa, and in the middle, is some poor fuck. Anyway. Now, I've always said, if I find stuff that I don't believe should be seen or doesn't belong within the topic, then I won't show it or say it or mention it. But I find that people seem to get triggered, or they get, I don't know how to say this, but they get to a point where, they get triggered, they start getting nasty and everything else. And hi, Gary. And you'll find it very interesting. Hi, Snowflowers here as well. Hi. Now, like I said, I'm a type of person, I will always do my research. Now, if the fleas are listening, either way, you've made a very big mistake. You've made a very, very big mistake. And the mistake is you've contradicted yourself. You've done 180s, you've lied. And just before I carry on, remember, one of our fellow members, Sergeant Mitch, is looking for a little bit of help. So please go and check out the link. And if you want to help out, please do so, and just show your support. So here's the link. I am going to pin it. Now, the biggest mistake they did the other day, which I've already shown you, is put up a screenshot of a receipt from Deuce Boy. Now we all know that Deuce Boy is hi Roy is hi Heidi makes as much sense as a fart in a spacesuit. Now, one thing I can say is that if you listen to George and Jeremy's live streams and you listen to what they say and you listen to how they say it, okay, you already know this whole situation with Bruce is coming to a fucking really sticky end, right? Bruce has made so many mistakes. I don't want to even waste any time on this guy. I'm going to stick to the crampons because that's the topic for today's stream. Now, as you see here, okay, this is the actual screenshot of what they produced. Okay, what I've done, I've added the real proper address of because it's not, it's a public knowledge. It's a public company, right? So before someone says, "Oh, you're doxing," no, it's not. Okay, when you publish it, it's public information. Now, if you look at the top left-hand side, top left-hand corner here, you'll notice here, right, is one address. On here is the actual address. Okay, this is the actual address. Now, something else that you don't see on here, and that's the reason I've put this here, right? So you don't see the clients. How can I put it? You don't see the address of the billing. What do you call it? You don't see the billing. Like all invoices, and I've done some research on this. All invoices in the United States will have the client's billing address on it. This one doesn't have the billing address on. The invoice number is here. It's just these 4 digits here. Right? The terms, okay, due on receipt. Right? I mean, really? Now, there are 2 pictures where you can see the top and the bottom. Right? Now, if they are a professional company and if you go to their website and that you can see what they advertise and everything else, the receipt wouldn't have payment methods on the front. It would have it on the next page, right? And it would have all the legal information. It would have the company registry number. It would have everything else on the bottom of the letter, right? There's a lot of discrepancies with this. Now, some people say it's real. Some people say it's fake. Okay, well, if it was real, why is there someone else's home address there? And this here is the home or the address. Now, that doesn't look like a security company. I know that there's some companies out in the world, right, that actually do. Okay, that doesn't look like a freaking address. There's also no registration of the vehicle. There's no name of the driver, the security driver. Okay, now, for 6 hours, $75 for a security. Now, here's the thing. Hi, Ali. Here's one thing I want you to understand. Okay, all right. This invoice states that he had escort, so that means he had a security escort. Now, why would Jeremy lie? Why would Jeremy sit on his platform and lie? Why? He's got no way. If Jeremy says he got out of a car, okay, if it was his own car or a hire car, and he got out of that hire car and that car was parked up and he got out of that car, then he was on his own. If he walked into the building on his own, he walked up and everything that Jeremy said, right, tells me that Bruce is lying. Okay. Now, here's the never thing. I spoke to a friend of mine who's a cop, who's a lawyer over there. I've got a couple of friends in the States. And he says if this turns out to be a lie, that's falsifying, that this here can get him in quite a lot of trouble because he's used it as evidence, or he has not produced it to the courts, but he's gave it to the fleas. Now, here's the thing. If you state that you had a security escort, you would put that as evidence. That would be an exhibit, as I was explained. All right. Now, obviously, I don't know about law. I was asking my friend a lot of questions. He was getting pissed off, and I just pissed him off a little bit more by pushing these buttons, but that's what friends do. Anyway, so that's the first red flag. The second red flag is obviously the lack of information on this receipt. The third red flag is the fact that the fleas produced it and showed it. Okay? That's the third red flag. The fourth red flag right, is the fact that this company apparently is inactive, but I'm still investigating that. I'm still doing some checks, and I've got a couple of friends doing the same thing, right? Because we want to find out if the company is active or inactive. If the company is inactive, right, then there's a problem. Because due to the fact that it's very easy to put an invoice number on any type of document, it's very easy to set up your own document. Very easy. Now, so this two different addresses. There's the one. Oh, gone too far. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Ah, and there's the other one. Okay. Sorry about that. I put the pictures in the wrong one. Anyway, doesn't fucking matter. Right now, that there, okay, is the actual location of the security company, but there's no sign or indication of anything. So unless they've got a little bitty 12 by 12 sign, little fucking poxy thing on the wall, right? Then fine. But that there is the actual location of the actual company. So if the company is active, okay, then here's another thing. That means a investigating team or the council of Germany can contact and say, right, we have a receipt here. Can you confirm that this is one of your receipts? That's where the problems will start for the Fleas and for Bruce, because two different addresses, lack of information on the invoice. Invoice was not used as evidence, but a statement of the fact was made. Witness statements state that they did not see or witness anyone else with Bruce on that day when he stated that he had the security, right? And if people say, oh, well, security were outside, they were just watching. No. If you pay for security, right, then that security is with you. And the fact that this company, right, doesn't indicate that they do personal CPO work, right? They do armed and unarmed, static and mobile security. Okay, people need to understand that part, right? Because you have to have a certain amount of training and different certification to become a close protection operative or officer. Hi, Amogo. Right, so let's just make sure we stay on the same page here. And I can assure you, to become a close protection officer or a close protection operative, right, it will cost you a shitload of money. And you'd have to do a lot of courses, and you'd have to redo these courses every 6 months to every year or whatever, right? There's, excuse me, there's certain things that you have to do to keep yourself updated. Over here, for example, in the UK, right, regardless of anywhere in the United Kingdom, if you do a close protection operatives course, it will cost you between 2,500 and 3,000, 4,000. Right? You have to first, before you do anything, you have to get your SIA badge. Right? You have to have any type of security experience, and then you go on the course. On that course, you will learn everything from close protection, triangle, square, defensive, offensive driving, and everything else. Now, if you go abroad with your client, okay, then obviously there's ever training, because only in certain countries you're allowed to have sidearms or carry concealed permit. Right, so that means if they go to a country, they live there in that country for over a certain period of time, they have to go through all the fucking red tape to actually get weapons license and do all the training. Okay, so there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to do to actually be able to, right. Now, Philip just hit the nail on the head. If you had personal security or any type of personal security, I can tell you one thing right now: $75 an hour, right? I wouldn't even set my alarm clock. For personal security, you're looking between 5 to 1,000, probably even a little bit less or more, right? Yeah, you're looking at, well, I would say you're looking at probably, I say between 800 and 1,200 a day, pounds, right, for personal security. It varies. It could be less, it could be more, who knows, all right? Now, The biggest issue, the biggest red flag about all of this is the fact that this came from the Fleas. Now, why did it come from the Fleas? Why didn't Bruce put this in his deposition or his, not deposition, in his motion? Right? But he also lied in his motion about the 700 because he didn't pay 700. Yeah. He paid half of it, if that. So he's still got an outstanding bill. It hasn't all been paid in full, right? So that's the never red flag because the security company would not take a down payment. They would want the whole payment in whole. They would. I mean, if any security company you contact, they would. You know, when it comes to like static work security or stuff like that, right? They would probably, say, okay, now this and this and this, you pay us like 3 weeks. Right, because the thing is, a security company, if a guard turns up and goes, fuck this, I don't want to work here no more, right? They've got other people they can cover. So when they get a down payment, it's like an umbrella protection for the company and also for your client. Yeah, because each security guard is always paid the same, depending on what job they do. If they do different jobs like mobile, they probably get a little bit more because obviously they have to travel around, they have to get in and out of the car, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, and I don't think the Fleas actually know this because of the amount of times they've been evicted and, the amount of bullshit they come out with. Now, here comes the funny part. This was posted an hour ago, or probably a little bit more an hour ago. And I find it quite interesting that, I'm going to read this out so people can actually hear it from someone else except those absolute cretins. Right? Looks like your mad is mad. Whatever. Look here, you are a full foul-mouthed employee of fake Christian humans. I mean, really? You portray yourselves as Bible-studying, God-like creatures, and you are nothing of the kind. You stalk people on a daily basis, and you do it while you get paid to. Right, okay, let's cover that one. Let's cover that one first, shall we? Right, first of all, why are you attacking someone's ideology? Haven't we heard this one before? Oh, yes, wait a minute. When Jeremy was accused of being anti-Semitic. Oh, okay. So it's one rule for one and a different rule for everyone else. Okay, I get it. Okay. Interesting. So stalking people on a daily basis. So what do you do then? I mean, the amount of times you said, oh, we've been watching this, oh, we got this, oh, we done this, oh, like that. I mean, you've richly stalked Jeremy down to the fucking exact timings when he drives past that property, which he is legally allowed to do. That is a public road. He can drive up and down that road all freaking day, and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you do about it. The reason he records every time he drives down that road is for transparency and also, what do you call it? Oh, what's the word for it? Shit. Accountability, right? The fact that Jeremy and George are being hounded, not just by Lynette Preston and John Cook, but the fact that there's been an organized team now, which we now know is called the anti-what-the-hell's ecosystem. But let's carry on, shall we? This channel is not a PR team hired by Bruce or Michelle Preston or John Cook. Okay. So why didn't over 2 months ago did you set up a website where you can and prior to that you were saying that you speak for Lynette, and therefore that is public relations. That means that you are the public relations contact for Lynette Preston. And considering that Lynette Preston and John Cook didn't say a word for quite a while, but you did. And then you also set up a website, which there's evidence for, which I'm not going to show because we all know what that looks like, with you two little cartoon picture and underneath PR team, right? But you then did a 180. I mean, this is how stupid you are. Excuse me a second. I need to cough. See, I'm learning. I hit that mute button once in a while, but sometimes I miss. Anyway, anywho, right. So you say that you're not No, you don't have to be hired. You have injected yourself into this. You jumped into this and said to them, "Oh, we'll sort this out for you," because you knew this was the perfect opportunity to get some money, which we're going to come on to in a minute. Okay. Now, over the last couple of weeks, you've been doing, you've been on your stream, crocodile tears, you absolute fucking xenomorph. Anyway, so you say the channel is not. This channel is not. Okay, so why are you? Well, I mean, you've totally contradicted yourself. I mean, like over the quite a few months now, all you have done is state on your channel that you speak for Lynette Preston and John Cook, and then you made a website with pictures that no one had seen prior to that day, and then you put that up there. Yeah. So now suddenly you're not the PR team. All right. It's irregardless if you were hired or not, if you get paid for it or not, because that's another point we're going to come on to in a minute. Excuse me a second. Now I need to blow my snout. Now you sit on your platform and you every time, you know how I know when you are lying, Lisa? It's because every time you lie, you go, that is a self-smoothing laugh, because that's what people do when they try to. Oh yeah, absolutely, James. Okay, this is what they call a smoothing action. All right, it's like rocking back and forth is a smoothing action. Making that little giggle is a smoothing action. Okay, now we digress. Since you stalk, I mean, you've got right. There's one thing I have to say. You've got this thing in your head that if someone was looking at you for 5 seconds, you'd call them a stalker or harasser. But let's look how you treated your next door neighbor, shall we? Yes, fine, fair enough. He did shit that he should have went to jail for, and he did. He got arrested and went to jail. All right, good on the popo. All right, but you spent months harassing this guy, following him, videoing him. Okay, invasion of privacy. Yet again, you don't understand what CCTV cameras are. For example, here in the United Kingdom of freaking warriors, okay, let me tell you something right now. There is a law stating that if a CCTV, all right, can see into someone else's window, that there is invasion of privacy. All right. So sometimes what will happen is that sometimes the neighborhood watch or the police will knock on your door and they'll say, "Oh, an incident happened, blah, 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 blah." And what they'll do, besides looking for what the incident, they'll also look where your cameras face. Now, if your cameras are too high, okay, and you can see what's going on in that living room, all right, they will legally advise you to lower the cameras down so you can't. Now, obviously, cameras can, depending on what type of lens you've got on a camera, depends on how much you can pick up. Now, I used to do a bit with CCTV, right? So your cameras always point, just like Lynette's cameras, they always point away from the property instead of actually being there to protect and to cover the property safety. They are looking at the road more than the property. And your CCTV camera, all right, from one moment it was pointing downwards towards the garage, and then suddenly it's pointing right at that person's house. That there is invasion and stalking. I don't know what the American law is for that, but hey, we digress again. So please don't sit there and think that you know everything. You don't, because you are an absolute freaking false excuse of a human being. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so you write in here, since you stalk so much and watch the lives daily, you would know that. Fortunately for me, and unfortunately for everyone else, I don't watch your shit. I can't even stand your voice. Actual fact, I would rather sit in a engine bay of a freaking 747 and wait for the engine to start and have my ears blown out by that crap than to listen to you, because you are disgusting. I mean, like, Bruce complains about me coughing and all that shit. Joseph, good to see you again, brother. All right. But here's one thing I want to point out to you. No one likes you. You are liars and you're thieves. And I'm going to come on to that. Now, calling someone a thief is like, ooh, we got to be careful there. No, because technically I can now call you a thief. And the reason being is because you have not legally or publicly shown any type of transparency where all the money has gone. Nothing. Absolutely diddly. Shit. Nada. Zilch. Nothing. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove everyone who's pointed out the fact that there's been no transparency, and I've been saying it from day one, but there's been no transparency whatsoever. And the fact that you go on and talk about other people, and then you put up all this shit about Jeremy driving past or God knows what do you call that? Driving past the school when you were down there. What do you call that? Oh, I'm just driving past filming his property. There's a difference between driving past, filming that property, filming that direction, right, to make sure that you've got transparency and accountability and you're protecting yourself. Because here's the difference between you, Lisa, and Jeremy. Jeremy was threatened with a pew-pew. You did not. Lynette did not. John Cook did not. Jeremy did. Remember this other incident where John Cook sat in his car, deliberately drove down to the entrance and said, if you touch my car, it's going to go bang, bang? How many other situations has this occurred that we are not privy to? But anyway, we digress again. So an image of an unpromoted mock-up website awaiting approval and the seller's affiliate is not proof of anything except you are full. Yeah, you see, this is where the problem starts, because you're saying it is a mock-up website. Okay, so why did you pay for the domain? And why did you publicize it? Because the thing is, if it was a mock-up website, okay, and it was unpromoted and it was a mock-up website awaiting approval, well, that's a lie, because no website is proof. You buy the domain, you set up the website, and you activate it, okay? Right? And the fact that you activated it with every single page, I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't click on it, someone else did, and I looked and I watched and observed. And the fact that you had pictures on there and everything else, you see, this is where you are making these small mistakes, and this is how you get caught out in your lives. Now, right, so, and you also call us fools. The website data itself will show that. Yeah, whatever. You're talking shit. I mean, look, Lisa, you don't know what you're talking about. And I mean this with the nicest possible way. Get someone to fucking explain to you the differences between active and inactive websites, please. Please. Just saying. We'll show you that. Hello. You might want to retract your lying statement. Why is that a lying statement? I mean, there's richly physical proof of you, right, on that website stating that you are the PR team, right, and that Bruce is the legal team, right? There are pictures and everything else, the statements that you put on each page, okay? People have the screenshots of that. And then you sit here and make this crap up. Yeah. All right, I'm obviously more in the no than you are. You mad, laughing out, you big bully. And I mean this, with the utmost respect. Have you ever sought professional psychological help, or have you been given medication that you failed to take, or have you banged your head lately? Or, do you know, over the months watching you post shit and other people on your behalf posting crap for you, and on that poxy Facebook group, there has to be something psychologically wrong with you. I mean, like the fact that evidence came out about Gabe's, restitution towards two elderly individuals that you probably still haven't paid, or you've probably paid outright, due to the fact of all the money that you've received over a couple of months prior and months over Christmas and afterwards, and you're still grifted. So explain one thing to me. Where's all the money gone? Wait a minute. What? Flea once said that the 56,000 was for her for something that she needed. It wasn't. Oh, please tell me there is actually video and audio footage of that statement. Please, dear God, please, Texas, please tell me there is video and audio evidence of her saying that. Please, I beg of you, and I mean this with the sincerest freaking way. Please tell me that someone has recorded, downloaded, or copied, and recorded that Flea won, that has stated that the $56,000 was for her and something she needed, and it wasn't meant for Lynette. Please tell me that people have got that. Lisa Lee Rabusi, you've just fucked up. You have just fucked up. Rico. Because there is 100% evidence that the money that 56,000 was sent to you as a donation to Lynette, the Barnuminium, and John Cook. You, madam, you is fucked. You is fucked. I don't even have to fucking carry on reading this shit. Oh my God. If there is factual proof that she said that, we don't even have to carry on talking about this anymore. Nope. Do you know why, don't you? She's just fucked up. If she has said that, oh my God, you have just, I'm looking for it right now. I am looking it for right now. 1 second, please. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You is fucked. Oh, you is fucked. This is, do you know what? Even the pain on my toe, doesn't fucking matter right now. I need to find that fucking picture. Where's that picture? 1 second, guys. I'll be with you in a sec, because I need to find this picture. Because I tell you one thing, if that is right, is it this one? Oh yeah, baby. Oh shit. Oh shit. It's Rico, guys. It is fucking Rico. You just fucked up. Chapter 8, what's this one from? Yeah, chapter 81896, related to offenses related to financial transactions. Oh, you fucked. Yeah, you just fucked up. If there is proof, you need to send that to fucking Jeremy. You need to send that evidence to Jeremy. I'm telling you that right now. That Jeremy Hells needs to receive that information. You need to send that to him. You definitely need to send that to him. Wow. Even I was not aware of that, because here's the thing. This is what I've been saying. I don't watch their shit because I like to keep whatever I eat in my gut. Oh my God, that's fucking awesome. That's made me happy now, because now all it takes, I mean, if this goes federal, I mean, all it takes is David Richards to be, I mean, if the FBI contact the office in London, and then they contact the Hillary over down here, and then the National Crime Agency then contact the Welsh police, and then the Welsh police come and contact him, and then he goes down and goes, they're fucked. Then if anyone has got that recording, send it to Tug, send it to Megan, send it to anybody who has got direct contact with them. Because I tell you one thing, yeah, that there will prove 100% of fraud, online fraud. And that there, Rico. Because this is and the thing is, I've been saying this from day one, that there hasn't been any transparency. And then if she has said that the 56,000 was for her, and he says it was a donation for the barnuminium, and there is proof of that, she's done. Because that means she's just committed online fraud, let alone anything else. Right, hang on a minute. Oh yeah, online international fraud is a significant global problem where criminals exploit the internet to deceive individuals or businesses, often across international borders. Common types including phishing, identity theft, and investment scams. If you suspected of it, that would be the action fraud. Investment scams, impersonation fraud, romance scams, counterfeit goods scams, reporting fraud. Oh, you were fucked. You were fucked. That's made me really happy now. If this is true, Texas, that there is a recording of her stating that, you're not just going to make Jeremy and George very happy. You're going to make Randy Shockett very happy, and you're going to make me and other people very happy. Why shall I ask my pretty? 1 second. But anyway, so wow, yeah, that's news. That's news. That's basically cut my stream down to what? How long have we been streaming now? Not even an hour. Well done, guys. Well done. Wow. Wow. Oh, my toe. Oh, God. You know what? My toe is thumping now. Oh, you know that pulsating? That's like, oh, Jesus. By the way, guys, if you go to the bathroom, make sure you open the door completely and try to stay away from the door frames. Do you know, I was more concerned about damaging the door frame than I was my toe. Do you know that? Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. But no, seriously, if that is fact, and I do apologize getting very excited, but if she has said that and it's been recorded, she's done. She is done. Because there's enough evidence to prove that she has not shown any type of receipts or any type of transparency where all the funds went to, all the donations went to. Multiple people have donated. All right. Now, the thing is, you have to be a little bit on the border when it comes to super chats and memberships. All right. And the thing is, if David Richards, aka Only Me, decides to go, do you know what? I do want to take legal action about this. Then all he has to do is the internet, bang, done. National Crime Agency, because they deal with all this. National Crime Agency will then contact the Interpol or FBI, and they will then contact the Department of Justice in Washington D.C. that work side by side with the Interpol, and then they will then deal with it. And then obviously you will have the feds involved. You will have the feds over here involved. You'll have everyone involved. And then she'll get a knock at the door about 3 o'clock in the morning, or the door will come off the hinges. Because now, okay, it's everything that's been going on in the last couple of months about new laptops, new phones, and everything else. A lot of things are now starting to make sense. Because basically, if she says, "Oh yeah, that money was for me," that means she's probably gave Bruce some money. This is just allegedly speculation. That some money went to Bruce, some money went to Stark, some money went to Lynette and John Cook. Yeah, and the rest she kept. So yeah. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So now we can basically prove this is it. Yep, this is it. This is it. This is it. Another guess, what? Hello, the Wicked Witch of the East.
That's me.
Have a guess what?
What?
Apparently, Lisa Lee Rabusi apparently made the statement that the $56,000 was apparently for her and not for the Barnuminium or for Lynette.
Well, is there any cause there?
Texas stated that she said that Texas. When did she say that? And I hope that someone's got that recorded.
She has claimed that all nations made were for her to do with she saw fit.
No. That money was for her to give to Lynette, so Lynette could sort the barnuminium out, and do anything else to the property that needed to be done. That's what the donations were for. So now she's admitted that, and if it is true where she says this money was for me and not for Lynette, the $56,000, she is fucked.
Well, I do believe what she means is that the money was donated, and that she is putting it what she thinks to be put towards.
Yeah, but that's she can't dictate. If the donations for the barnuminium, then that money has to go to the barnuminium. If the donations are for clothing or for anything else, that's where it has to go. She cannot dictate. If she says, "Oh, we need to get the barnuminium, we need to get lumber and nails and stuff like that, labor for the chippies and electrician and all that stuff," that's where the donations go to, because that's what people are donating to.
Yes, you have to be explicit with donations. If I give you $1 and I say it goes to Christmas,
yeah,
and I give you $2 and it goes to barnuminium, you have to have separate amounts for each individual thing that you're running a fundraiser for.
Yeah,
and I know she's not a fundraiser, but when you're raising funds, it's a fundraiser.
Yeah, and if you can find that statement, it's probably too late by now. She's probably deleted it. But if you can find that statement, she's done, because that comes under RICO. That's basically international wire fraud.
They're saying there's a bad actor for me.
Yeah, there is a little bit. Yeah. What? No. Oh, wait.
I'm sure it's something you're doing.
Yeah. Try now.
I think that's better.
Wait. What do you mean? Is it you are really echoing? Can you fix that? Well, I'm sorry, Star. This is. Don't pick on me. I've got a bad toe. Oh, you're not going to believe this. I went to the pisser.
What?
I went to the throne room.
Well, surprise there.
Yeah, I went to the throne room, did my duty, and then started walking out, opened the door, and booted the door frame with my left foot.
I bet you cussed the wallpaper off the walls.
Oh, shit. I tell you one thing. I saw Jesus. I swear to God, I saw Jesus. He just put his hand on my shoulder and went, there. And I was like, oh. And then I looked down and I could see my toenail sort of popping up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, pushed it down. And now I'm sitting here. And my toe is like the size of my freaking thumb.
I bet so. I bet you broke that toe too.
Yeah, I've definitely broke it. It's already bruising up. So, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, you know, they always say you're drinking. Maybe you need to put the bottle down, right?
Fuck off. Oh, shit. Yeah. In the near future, ladies and gentlemen, I've just been thinking we may have a secret guest on, only for a short period, just to give this guest a little bit of what it's like to be in the limelight. It won't be now, but it'll be in the next couple of lives, and it won't be for long. Right? But yeah, it'll be enjoyable. Put it that way. No, but anyway, so oh God, I swear to God, the KRAMPONS. Do you know what? Lisa Lee and Tori, they must be absolutely thick, or they would drop at childbirth. What one is it?
I'm voting for both. I'm going for both things.
I mean, let me ask you a question, because you're an Americanese, right?
I am.
Right. If you make a statement in a legal document, but you don't show the proof, what would you do if you came across that document? If you had a responsibility to investigate?
Well, I'd look at it very, very carefully, and I'd wonder first why it wasn't added to the record. That right there tells me a whole lot about any document. If you're using that and you're not adding it to the record to show proof, then my question is why.
Hang on. Holy shit, Cajun Joel's here. Fuck, how you doing, brother? Oh, God. Do you know what? I got Joseph here. Cajun's here. Do you know what? I am so glad I'm seeing you guys again. I actually missed you guys.
Yeah, and hello to everybody that's saying hello. It's going so much.
Oh, now you think about saying hello. Now you decide to say hello.
I know. Just beat me now.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason I brought you on, because it is an emergency, because we need to, because obviously you're an Americanese, and like you're going to like this topic.
Okay.
You're going to like this topic. I want you to do a Google search and read at this while we talk.
Okay.
It's going to blow your mind.
It don't take a whole lot, trust me.
Well, that's true, yeah. Yeah. All you have to do is open your eyes and go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, what am I searching now?
Just don't say it live. Don't say it out loud. But I just sent you. Have a look at the message I just sent you. And by the way, guys, yeah, my pretty and I, we're still talking. So before you guys, make any rumors up, and
now don't be telling our secrets.
I'm not. Shut up. Just another thing while we're talking, guys, please go and check that GoFundMe link I've got at the top there. That's for Sergeant Mitch. All right, he needs a little bit of help. He's in a little bit of a sticky situation at the moment. So if you can help him out, please do so. We are a community. It is part of the community, and I would do this for anyone else. So please, go and have a check. Go and check it out. And if, just show your love and support if you want to. You don't, but please go and check it out. Anyway, so you saw it? You seen it?
I did. I'm familiar with it.
You are good. So yeah, right. Wait a minute. Missed your teaspoon. Life's been super busy trying to juggle through running. Well, I mean, about your. Hey, Cajun, we don't want to know about your sex life, okay? Yeah.
I I don't know, Cajun. You sound a little interested. I might want to know.
Wait, what? No, not on this stream. We're not 18 plus, so shut up.
I don't know if he can do all that at the same time. We might need to talk.
Right. Anyway, right. I'll tell you one thing. Me and Squid have got this big fucking thing going on about that air crash in Washington. And
I hadn't seen that. I saw where a helicopter went down the Hudson River.
Yeah.
I think either yesterday or today, and I was watching that live video. I hadn't got to the DC crash thing yet.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, someone put a sick joke in. Oh, you ran out of fuel. The thing is, here at the end of the day, I don't care about what people say, but the fuel was the last thing. I think there was a catastrophic malfunction with the engine, but he didn't know about it. But anyway, I don't want to digress onto that. That's a topic that I don't want to bring up.
Are you talking about the one from before?
I'm talking about the helicopter and the CRJ.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, that one from before.
Because I found quite a lot of I mean, it's mind-boggling. I mean, there were two streams where we both had headaches because of. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I mean, if this is true that she's actually stated that, all right, then there's 100% factual evidence that she's committed online fraud. But that's just allegedly speculation. Until there's actually proof, you can only speculate and state it that's alleged.
Some people in the chat say, I donated so much money, and I donated it to you, Lisa, for you to do with it as you see fit, because I trust you. I've seen those posts, from those comments from people that are watching the stream.
Yeah.
And yes, I do watch the stream. I'm not going to lie and say I don't. I do. I watch a little bit of it. I can't take a whole lot of it, but I do watch a little bit of it because it just fascinates me. It boggles my mind. I just didn't know people like that existed until I got into all this. So yeah, I do it straight for entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but that's probably one of the good reasons that I'm not monetized. I am so glad I'm not monetized with all this going on. Bloody hell, yeah. I mean, I've had people offer me stuff and I've gone, nope, pay it forward. But wow. I mean, and to be honest with you, I'm getting a bit sick and tired of repeating myself and going on about this. I don't want to get clout or, I don't want to get clout or anything else from this. I just like to point out their their mistakes. Pardon my French. Their mistakes. And point this out to people, and hopefully people will step out of the box and actually use some common sense and look at everything and go, yeah, he's actually got a good point there. He's a limey Welsh sheepshagger, but he's got a good point.
I said yesterday you're rubbing off on me. You got me investigating stuff that I would never even have.
I know.
I mean, I would have just lived my life with my rainbows and my unicorns, okay? But no, now I got to tear everything apart. Now I got to look at everything. I got to see if it's what I think it is, or I can't believe my lying eyes, as the old saying goes. So I have to tear it down even more.
Oh my God, Arrow Man, how you doing, bud? How you do? Oh my God, I'm happy now. I'm happy. Fuck it. Let's just sit here and not say anything.
If Ammo Man makes you that happy, he needs to come in more often. If that's all it takes to get your jollies going, by God, come on in every day.
Oh God, you Americans and your dirty minds, hey. Jesus Christ. I can't bring you on here for 5 minutes and you're already freaking...
It's your mind that went down there.
No, I didn't. No, I'm already down here, so I don't know what you're talking about. I live here 24/7. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway. So it's good to see you, Ammo Man. Welcome to the stream. I've totally forgot what we were saying now. What were we talking about?
You were talking about you're tired of these people and you
yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting sick and tired. Look, guys, I know that a lot of you are God-fearing, Christian, church-going people and that you've got a heart in your chest. I get it. And I get it that you want to help people and I know that you want to support people and, be generous and basically be part of something good. But here's the biggest issue. When you've got people who take advantage of that and they take such a level of advantage that they convince you what they're doing is correct when it's absolutely incorrect and a lie, and everything's a fabrication. All I can say is this. Don't allow people to manipulate you, right? Make your own checks. Do your own checks. Do your own research, right? Like, like, like with Eric, for example, or with Sart Mitch, I will turn around to both of them and I will say, I want to see transparency. I want to see this. I want to see that. And I can tell you right now, I have seen transparency privately. I have seen from Eric, and I have seen from Sart Mitch. And that's why I will actually then post their link to their GoFundMe, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm like. I am fucking a stickler of truth and facts. And if I think there's something wrong, I will not do. I will say no. Right. But I have seen some information that I do believe that he needs help, and that's why I put it up there. Now, from day one, when they got involved with Lynette Preston and everyone else, there was no transparency or proof of anything. Every time they have put something up on their screen, right, it's been questionable. And then we look at the receipt that apparently was $700. Right now, he said that he paid $700. That is a lie. He's only paid $300, so therefore he has lied to the judge. He did not add the receipt of that apparent security personnel being with him. So therefore, right, he's lying, because at the end of the day, if I was a lawyer and the judge was going to sanction me and was going to hand my ass to me, then I would put every single evidence that I have, like flight tickets, hotel bills, food bills, anything that I've spent money on, I would add to my motion, because it's evidence, it's proof. This is exactly what happened. Everything that I say in the motion, I can prove with receipts. Nothing.
That's where your exhibits come in. If I tell you X, Y, and Z, then my exhibits should prove X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
to me,
exactly.
that's your point of getting those exhibits entered into the record. But see, the thing about entering exhibits into the record is, if they're not true, you're screwed.
But here comes my question.
That brings in the question.
Yeah, and do you want to? Yeah. Here's one thing I am going to say. He writes this motion, 2 million page motion, whatever. Like, we know what Deuce Foreskin does. He just writes shit, copy and paste it. We've now recently found out that his own wife is his office manager. I mean, self-employed, works from home, and she manages his office. Now it's starting to make sense that some of the terminology doesn't sound like it's him saying that, right? The second thing is, right, conflict of interest much. Third thing is, now we know why she quit the yoga, because obviously witch yoga or yoga for witches, okay, is not really that big, you know. All you have to do is go back a couple of videos and you'll see the actual pictures of him sitting there with the witch yoga for witches on his shelf. But anyway, we digress. But then suddenly the Fleas bring out this freaking receipt with no billing address the invoice number. So you're telling me that they've only had 1,347 people ask for they've only had 1,400 clients.
Exactly. And I did go back and look at every invoice that I've received, especially last year, because I had it for taxes. And it is correct that underneath the name of the person the invoice is sent to is the address of that person for documentation purposes. And so I do question. Now, I'm not saying it's not I'm not saying it's not a true invoice. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are red flags. And it's a shame that we have to question these types of things. It's a shame that we've been handed so much bullpucky that we now have to question something as simple as an invoice, and we have to tear it apart.
Sarah
because we've been lied to so much. We have to. We don't have a choice. And so we have to find that. Oh, my Sarah Joy is in the house.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. I was just saying hello.
That's my bestie.
All right, put your knickers back on. Here's the thing
Don't go
about
telling
that.
my secrets.
here's the thing that, like, you know, I mean, like, I had the pleasure of sitting on Squids and we went through the legal document, and the amount of times he used YouTube on both documents, the amount of times, I mean, that it gave both of us a freaking headache with the amount of contradictions and lies that were in there. And the thing is, he was doing exactly the same that he did with his other cases, and there was similarities of the mac and cheese cases as well. But here comes my big question: why is Lisa Rabusi, aka the Fleas, aka the Walrus, aka KRAMPONS, posting, live streaming a receipt from a lawyer who at the moment is on the chopping block, i.e. like the, what do you call it, getting sanctioned and God knows what else that's coming towards him? Why are they showing that? But this lawyer, who's supposed to have had 26 years of law experience and God knows what else, I mean, he became a lawyer in 1996, and then worked for Massachusetts Supreme Court. You would think that this person would have the common sense and the knowledge when he writes a motion and makes statements. Oh, I had to use I had to get personal security because I was in fear of my safety. And then in Exhibit A, here's the receipt of that security. But the thing is, it then now everything that they've done proves it's been a lie, because the thing is, Jeremy Hales and George would not sit on their platform and blatantly lie to 700,000+ subscribers or people or the planet or the world when they turn around and says, we saw him turn up in a car, we saw him get out of the car, there was no one with him, we saw him walk alone into the courthouse, there was no one with him, we saw him go up and he was in court on his own.
And just because that invoice says that he made a deposit on the 12th for $350 does not show that he paid the bill. He could have made a deposit and then canceled. I'm sorry, my brain works that way. And if everybody else's doesn't, you guys need to sit down and think things through for yourself.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you just made a very, very good fucking comment there.
I mean, I can call and make a deposit on a rental car, and if I don't pick that rental car up and I cancel within 24 hours, I get my money back.
Okay, when was the deposition?
19th of December.
So why is the receipt invoice for the 12th?
That's whenever he supposedly paid. This is my business mind, y'all. Okay, so this is not factual. This is my mind owning 3 businesses in my lifetime. The invoice was written on the 12th. When they received the deposit, they sent him an invoice for the other 300, or the other, I think, 350 that was owed.
Yeah.
So he paid 350 as a deposit, and then he still owed the 350. Show me he paid that 350.
Oh, he hasn't. He probably hasn't.
They're not going to. Why wouldn't you show that part that showed you paid $700? No, you show the part where you paid a deposit. You didn't show the part where you paid the $750. I think that's a red flag. That's my opinion. I think that's a red flag. And my thing is, too, you hire a security guard. He didn't go with you into the courthouse. He didn't go with you into the courtroom. Number one, he couldn't have been armed because he couldn't have got in the courthouse. Because he was armed. You got to go through security. Even police officers, if a cop pulls you up to jail and he takes you into jail, they got these little boxes that sit outside the door. I do watch a lot of videos, y'all. Not that I've been there, but I've seen them on TV. They got these little boxes, and you got to go up to that box. They turn the key. They put their firearm into the box and lock it up, and then they proceed with you into the jail.
Mm-hmm.
The people that can carry a weapon on federal property is a federal officer. A regular police officer can't even enter that courthouse and carry his gun.
Yeah, and something else as well. Here's one thing that a lot of people, even I know this, and I've done some research, but here's the thing. you have to inform the courts and the court ushers and the security and everyone in that court that you are bringing in an individual who is your personal security. All right. And the thing is, you don't need personal security in there because there are so many different levels of security, from marshals, sheriffs, court, police, security, right? Every single one of them is armed. Well, most of them are, right? So if you feel threatened in a court, right, and I can vouch for this from here, over here in the UK, and I'm not going to go into details, but there was an incident where my friend and I detained two people. Okay, one of them stated that he was a part-time copper. Right, we didn't believe him, so we held them, citizens arrest, and we held them until the police turned up. We handed them over to the police. When the court date came, when we came into court, because we came to court together, when we came into court, there was two police officers and the court usher, and they stated to us, they're in fear of their safety because of the way we handled them. I mean, then again, I'm not a small boy, and nor is my mate. And, you know, being military, we did bounce them a little bit, all right, just to make sure they listened to our instructions and commands until the police got there. And the police said, oh, they're in fear, Is it okay if we put you in a side room? We were like, absolutely, not a problem. And even the police came in and, you know, they put us in this room. One of the police officers stayed with us. We're having a chat, having fun, having a giggle. Okay. And then basically when it came to us going in court and making statements, I made my statement. I got cross-examined. My mate got cross-examined. We made our statements. We told exactly what happened. And basically the person who did whatever did ended up getting 2.5 years in jail.
Wow.
All right. And the fact of the matter is, but that's here over here. That was in Crown Court. Now I've never been to a magistrate, but a Crown Court. And at the end of the day, there's different levels of security in a courthouse. So for him to turn around and say that he took someone into a courthouse as his personal security, a static or non-static security guard, right, armed or unarmed, yeah, unless you are qualified, level 3 qualified, I think it's in the States, it's level 3, I believe, right? If it's level 3, yeah, if you go into that courthouse, you have to hand everything over. You have to hand your firearm over. You cannot go in a courthouse with your firearm. Unless your law, I mean, from what I've learned so far over this whole debacle, right, is that your law does whatever the fuck it wants anyway. You know, I mean, like, shit's getting made up as it is. I mean, like, you wake up one morning and go, oh, I'm going to say that I took a security guard with me and I felt in fear of my life. I went to the police station and lied through my teeth. You know, I mean, how far is this going to go until someone actually makes a statement and goes, right, you know what, Bruce? We've had enough of you. We're now going to detain you. You're going to do a polygraph test. We're going to get a psychologist. We're going to do this, do this, do this, do this. All right. And then they're going to throw the book at the Rabusi and the Torque Jones and Robbie, and all this shit gets sorted. Because the thing is, not once have I seen any factual proof from them of what they said is true. Besides the fence and the flags and the Christmas lights and the gifts. Other than that, nothing else.
Now, as far as the security guard goes, could he have driven in his own vehicle and been in the parking lot and watched Bruce walk into the courthouse? Yes.
No.
That's a possibility. It is a possibility. It
is a possibility, but the thing is, why would you do that? Why would a company say, okay, I mean, yeah, okay, if a company's like really dirty or they're lazy as hell, yeah, not a problem.
They get to him, by the time they could get to him at that point, whatever was going to happen would happen. Right. I mean, what good did you do me?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you pay for personal security, one, you wouldn't be paying $75 an hour. You'd be paying $300 to $400 or $500 or $600 an hour. Plus, okay, the security company would actually contact the court, the lawyer, or whatever, and it would have to go through his counsel. And him being a lawyer, it would then have to go through the court. They would have to contact the court, what do they call the court? Police, the court.
Well, in federal court, it's the marshals, U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, so they would have, and they would have to, like, you know, in advance, contact them and say, we've had a client ask that this and that and everything. 99% of the time, the U.S. Marshal would go, nope. because there's already enough security there. Now, the personal security could stand outside the courthouse, but they would not be allowed to touch anyone. They're not allowed to search anybody. They're not allowed to do anything. It's called the Baker Act. It only needs a judge's signature and proof that the person is in danger and themselves. Right, got you. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Yeah. So it's the Baker Act, and we haven't seen any of that. So this brings me on to my next topic. You ready for this?
Okay. I'm scared.
You're scared, right? Let me. Right, you're scared. Okay, right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, has anyone ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? Anybody? If you have, press 1. If you haven't, press 2. Okay, I will repeat it again. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. All right. In actual fact, I am going to go like this, and I'm going to get a screenshot of a screen. I am going to get you a picture. Oh, wait, no. All right, there you go. Let me get that one. There you go. There you go. There we go. There we go. Right. All right. Bear with me a sec, guys. I will be with you to sweet. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're just going to move that one like that. Actual fact, no. We're going to move that over there, and we're going to move that one separately. So that one's going to be separate, and then we're going to put these back up. Right. Okay. That one?
Nashwana. She says if you're related to Freddie.
Am I related to? Wait, what?
No, the Dunning-Kruger. Nashwana says is he related to Freddie? You know, Freddie Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, you silly moo. Anyway, right. Okay. The Dunnins. That's Dunnins. All right. It is a cognitive bias where individuals with low competence in a specific area tend to overestimate their abilities, while those with high competencies may underestimate theirs. This bias, named after psychological David Dunning and Justin Kruger, stems from a lack of self-awareness, making individuals unable to recognize their own limitations. Okay, and this is what it looks like. All right. Yep, so this is what it looks like. Everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I'm echoing again.
Are you? Oh, shit. Hang on a minute.
See, there you go. You're licking the screen.
Leave me alone. Right. Okay. So you've got this issue, and I can tell you right now that is exactly what what Bruce, the Crampons, are doing. And the same goes with Bone Crusher, and the same goes with Jabba the Hoot, right? David Michael Tischendorf, right? They're all very, very dumb. They've got limited intelligence because, I mean, every time if you listen to Lisa when she talks, she always has that that fake laugh, right? That's a self-smoothing laugh. Now, at the end of the day, if they are going to lie, right? When it comes to that effect, their ignorance is at the highest peak, right? So they're very ignorant, yeah, and they're very confident in their ignorance. So they're very confident just sitting there talking shit, right? Because the knowledge level is very low, right? Now, I'm no expert, my pretty is no expert. A lot of us are no expert, but there are certain things that we have expertise in, and there's certain things that we don't have expertise in, right? So, but the thing is, it comes to confidence and knowledge. Now, if you bridge the confidence and knowledge, that's where you become an expert in your topic, so to speak, law, or how to clean a weapon, or how to apply first aid, or how to fix a car, stuff like that. Everyone has got different types of level, right? So when you hit that line, when it comes to being an expert in your category, yeah, you have to have a shitload of knowledge and experience. Now, when it comes to the walruses, aka the crampons, right, their knowledge of general shit, right, is extremely low. But their confidence is but this is ignorance. Their competence is extremely high. It's very highly peaked because they're ignorant. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who actually believe in what they say and what they do. And that's where we have the problem with people giving them everything. Hey, Mark, hi. All they need is a couple of people. Well, they do that themselves, Mark, right? And here's the reason why I say that. You will have, for example, Lisa, Tori, and Robbie sitting on that platform. Lisa will say something, or Tori will say something, and then you will get one of them going, yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you're right. And then that being reinforced by the other person, they're going, yeah, absolutely, yeah, she's right. And then they'll do that back and forth. And what they're doing, they're sort of cradling each other in their own little bullshit. Now, some of what they say may be correct. Some of the stuff that they say may be right. Right? But that's probably only 10 or 15% of what they say. The rest of it is fabrication, lies, and just made up. Yeah?
Exactly. You're exactly right. I mean, I'm not saying everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. I'm not saying that. What I say is that she lacks common sense.
Yeah, and that's where.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Be able to think. I'm sorry, to be able to think for herself. She watches everything that's said in chat, and somebody can say something to her in chat, and she will run with that like it's the gospel truth. How does she know it ain't me under a different name just saying that? Just to get her going and get her to say something. Not that it is. It's not, y'all. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying you got to think that far ahead. You've got to think that possibly that is what it could be.
Yeah.
Because you don't know these people. These are people that are behind a name. You don't know them. You don't have dinner with these folks. They don't come put their nasty feet up on your couch. You don't know these people.
Yep.
You have to think that way, and she doesn't. She takes it as gospel, then she runs with it. People that don't know what's going on. They only know what she tells them. And so they're being fed this, and it's compounding upon compounding, and it's making her think that everything she's saying is correct. She doesn't think outside her box. If it's not within those 4 squares of that box, she doesn't think outside that box.
Now, here's one thing I want to point out. Now, there was times where I really pushed a button, right? I really pushed the buttons with those, and they didn't like it because obviously I was on other people's streams. But one thing I've noticed is that like they've gone very quiet because they know exactly what I will do. I will dig, and dig, right? And then until I find, and the thing is, when I do dig and I do my research, sometimes I will find stuff that I don't believe should be posted. When I see other people posting that stuff, it still doesn't mean that I will, right? The reason being is because I don't think it's necessary to post it because it's not part of the actual issue. Now, when it comes to Lisa Lee or Lisa Rabusi or whatever she wants to fucking call herself, right? I would actually address her as Xenomorph 1 and Xenomorph 2, but that's then messing with Alien. Anyway, I have noticed when she's on her own on that platform, she is very, very particular in what she says. She's very careful what she says. When she then suddenly has people on the platform with her, that's when you see another side of her. That's when you
Absolutely.
that's when you see another side of her. Because the thing is, she's got no one there to boost her lack of
Ego.
confidence, right?
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
her ego. It boosts her ego.
yeah,
You hear it. The fluctuation in her voice is totally different when she's on there by herself versus when she has, you know, her group on there with her, because she doesn't have that person in the background going, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a totally different show with her by herself.
yeah. I mean, like, here's a couple of things that I'm going to read out to you, right, about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Exploration, right? Elaboration, sorry. Overestimation by the incompetent. Individuals with limited knowledge or skills often lack the awareness to recognize their own shortcomings, leading them to overestimate their abilities and confidently make claims they cannot back up. Now, who do we know who would perfectly fit in that category?
They do what? I'm sorry. Go back
Right.
and repeat yourself again. I dropped something, had to pick it up, and it took my attention.
Hopefully, it was a good thing. Individuals with limited knowledge or skills often lack the awareness to recognize their own shortcomings, leading them to overestimate their abilities and confidently make claims they cannot back up.
That's God love her. That's her in a nutshell. And
Yep.
Bruce
And
in a nutshell.
quite a few other people as well.
Mhm.
Underestimation of the competent. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, underestimation of the by the competent. Conversely, highly skilled individuals may underestimate their own expertise, sometimes perceiving the task as simple due to their case in performing it. I think 99% of us do that.
I agree.
Right?
I'm
99%
guilty of
of us.
that part myself.
Yeah, 99% of us, right, underestimate ourselves because we don't think that we're competent, but it turns out that we are. But anyway, right, cognitive bias. The Dunning-Kruger effect is considered a cognitive bias because it involves a systematic deviation from rational judgment. Oh doy, oh doy, oh doy. Who do we know about that? Let's not name names, but there's quite a few people I can fucking name on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. However, when it comes to the crampons, right, that is fucking on the nail. Right? Because the thing is, they always accuse people of stalking, harassment, and God knows what else. Yeah,
Absolutely. They do
and
that continuously.
yeah, and they get emotionally involved. And this is why I always say to you guys, don't come in here emotional, because if you start getting emotional, you're getting yeeted, right? Because emotions create reactions, and reactions
Mhm.
create behavior, and reactions and behavior create negative input.
I'm that
Right?
type of I'm the kind of person that, let's say me and you have an argument.
Which we
I'll
do.
run my mouth. We do not. I'll run my mouth to you, and I'll tell you just what I think, and I'll let you tell me what you think, and we can go back and forth. But the moment the first tear forms in my eye, you need to shut up, because at that point, see, I've lost control. My emotions have taken over, and I've lost control, and I'm going to give it to you 100%, and I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you just what I think, and then I'm going to feel bad about it later, but it's going to come out first.
Oh yeah.
But as long as that tear don't come in, you good, and we having a conversation, and we're having a wonderful time with each other.
Yeah.
But the moment that happens, it's on.
Yeah, I mean, 99% of the time, with everyone who I've spoken to and everyone I know, right, we know where our boundaries are, right? Well, where we don't step over that line. Right? I'm not into all this. Oh, my boundaries this, my boundaries that, because anything can be a fucking boundary, right? Now, if someone says something to me and I don't appreciate it or I didn't like it, I'm going to say, hey, look, I don't fucking like that. You're talking out your fucking ass, right? Tell you what, step away, think about what you said, and then come back. and that's it. But I never get emotionally involved in it because I just go, nope, I'm not going to play that. Fuck it. Right, but let's carry on this one. Example.
You're right. A plate of grits will calm me down. By God, with some mustard.
I'll make you cry one day. Don't you worry about that. I'm gonna make you cry one day.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that fucking skirt doesn't suit you. Anyway, so
Sarah Joy is saying that I make her cry all the time.
Well, then you're just a bully, aren't you?
Laughter.
Then you're just a bully to Sarah Joy, aren't you? I mean,
I am. Yeah. Whoop her right on into place.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know that my pretty got people attempted to bully her, and look where that got them? Ha! Fuck off. Anyway, right.
That's what I said. Fuck
off.
This
effect can manifest in various contexts, including medical training, students failing to recognize their failure, logical reasoning, and even social situations. Oh, pardon me. Easy. Impact. Understanding the Dunning-Kruger effect can help individuals become more aware of their own biases and the potential for overestimation and underestimation of their abilities. By the way, just so you know, I am back on a new course and we're actually covering this, so just so you're aware, this is the start of my new course, and this is one of the topics that unfortunately I have to oh God. So yeah. But when it comes to the crampons, crampon tampons, the used if you are not seeing the red flags, then I would strongly suggest that you no, I didn't. Yeah, oh yes, I did. Anyway, that's beside the point, right? This is one of the reasons I try not to allow people to be here on here or be, because emotions are the worst fucking thing that you can have around you when you're having these type of topics. And then when you listen to the crampons, right, they always try to press those emotional reactions. They always want to get emotion out of people. And like the more they do it and the more emotional people get, right, the more they grift. And this is exactly what happened over November, December, and January, right? They were pressing those buttons like it was going. And now they've done a complete 180. Actual fact, they're still doing 180s right now. And they're basically contradicting themselves in everything they are doing, right? And no, you haven't derailed me. And the fact that they are sitting on a platform and showing receipts that technically can now bury Bruce Matskin, because if the courts decide, or if Jeremy's counsel then decide to investigate it, get a private investigation team and investigate it, and it turns out to be a fucking lie, it turns out to be a falsehood, then have a guess what? You have just publicly shown false information, and you've richly gone and made, you just basically shot down Bruce in flames. And that's your incompetence. Your problem is your ignorance is peaking. All right? And that's your confidence. Your confidence is the fact that your ignorance is right at the top. And your knowledge is cultured.
Over here, we got a running joke. And that's because we got a lot of medical shows, And this guy run up and this lady was laid out on the ground. And he says to her, "Can I help you?" And she says, "Are you a doctor?" And he says, "No, but I play one on TV." So that's the concept. To me, in my opinion, that's the concept of it. My mama used to call it she used to say a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of you got a little bit of knowledge about this area. Let's just say the law. You got a little bit of knowledge, but you think you're as good as a lawyer. And you project yourself to be that way. And your ignorance shows in the stupidity that comes out of your mouth. And people realize, this person is totally ignorant of the law completely. And I see that a lot. I watch sometimes like First Amendment auditing, and I know they do it over there too. Like, public filming, and people are like, You can't film me as I drive down the street. You can't do that as you're standing on a public sidewalk. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, yeah, you can. Even the police officers, they come up and they're like, give me your ID and have I committed a crime? And they're like, no. And it shows the cop's ignorance. He thinks because he's a police officer, he knows more than you do because he's a police officer. But a lot of police officers, I know in our country, don't know about yours, but I know over here, a lot of them only know what they learned in that 6-week course that they took. They never took their education any further. And you have to continue to educate yourself. You have to continue to add to your notebook that has all this information in it. You have to add to it. You have to continue to learn. And a lot of people just take that little bit that they learned and they think that's all there is to it. And now they are this great, masterful person, but it's not like that.
Yeah, I mean, like over here, for example, I've come across a lot of well, I've had situations with police. I've had interactions with the police here in Wales and also in England, and once in Scotland. And these days, because the police officers are now getting younger, they're very PC, and it's like, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's two-tier police," and I think it's just the problem is they've turned the police into a police service where it used to be a police force. You know, which was also strange because in the old days you had a WPC and a PC. A WPC was a woman police officer, police constable, and then you had a police constable, and no one had a problem with that. And then suddenly all this woke stuff coming now. This day and age, right? You've got PACE, you've got the PACE Act, you've got Section 5 of the Public Order Act. The police can do anything. They can, and the biggest one they actually use this day and age, which they tried on me a couple of times, is from the Public Order Act 1986, which is harassment, alarm, and distress. So they'll come over and they'll say, "Oh, well, you're causing a harassment, alarm, and distress," and I'll turn around and go, "Well, how? If I'm sitting here having a cigarette?" And they go, "Yeah, it's because you're smoking." I said, "First of all, that's not harassment, that's not alarming, and it's definitely not distressing because the person can get up and walk away." And I went, "Well, so why have you approached me? What crime have I committed?" And the biggest issue now here in the UK is that people now are copying what happens in America when there's an interaction with police. Now, look, all right, at the end of the day, police officers are not robots. Yeah, they are human, just like you and I. There are some shitty police officers. There's some uneducated police officers, and then there's some really good, educated, and professional police officers. But because you've got that environment over there where everyone wants to challenge a police officer, why? I have not got a fucking clue. Look, if you've done something wrong, if you committed a road traffic act, if you've broken a traffic act or you've done something, just stand there, let the cop say what he wants to say, then you turn around and say, if you have done nothing wrong, then what have you got to fear? If you get stopped in a vehicle, I've been over in Canada and in the States, I've been stopped by the police, and in fact I ended up getting a photo taken with one of the fucking coppers because being a Brit, right? I still got a fucking ticket though. I still got,
and the place to argue that's in court.
Yeah, and no, I just drove when I got the ticket. I just drove to the next town, to the town, and then paid it. And even the woman behind this fucking 6-inch bulletproof glass went, "Oh, thanks very much, sir." And I went, cool, yeah, whatever. And then I just carried on. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, if you've committed a crime or you've committed a offence, right, just play the game, because at the end of the day, you can always fight it in court if you need to, right? But I've seen stuff. I mean, and the thing is, YouTube doesn't do you any favors as well, because like on YouTube, there's always, "Oh, cops this, cops that, cops this." Now you've got people who deliberately go out their way to antagonize police officers, especially when they're in danger all day, and they're basically their stress level is over the roof. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I see it both. I mean, I see both sides of the coin.
There are bent coppers. There are coppers out there that don't deserve to be anywhere near the uniform, let alone anything. I mean, and sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and that's, to me, that right there is the worst thing that affects policing in my country is bad police officers, because bad police officers are what hurt really good police officers.
Yep. And can I just interact here? Let me interject here. Ladies and gentlemen and Wookiees and Ewoks and members of the jury, Your Honor, let me just point one thing out. We're not just talking about police here. We're talking about police, fire service, medical service, the military, everyone in uniform. Right? There are good and bad, just like there are with people. There are good and bad, and then you've got the fucking insane, right? So let's not like paint everyone with the same paintbrush, right? So let's just say that the minority are giving the majority a bad reputation.
Right.
Okay. I just want to make that statement because
I agree.
I've got a friend who's a cop who was also used to be he was in the armed forces. Okay. I've got a friend who is now a lawyer, a big shot. I call him a big shot. He was also in the armed forces. Right. Luckily, those two are really nice people. My friend who's a cop, okay, he has told me some fucking horror stories of cops sitting in the office joking about someone they dragged out of a car through the window, right, and richly like tried to make them become one with the tarmac. And he hates that. I mean, sometimes you have to use force, but there is a line you don't cross, right? Reasonable force to restrain someone. Now, there was a sheriff somewhere down south. He sounded like John Wayne on steroids. He went, if you want a piece of me, you come down and look me up and find where I am. I will stand toe to toe with you. I was like, shit. And the thing is, I think it was because of the racial divide. And so they had community members or representatives of the communities of all different races, ideologies, backgrounds. So they had Mexican, black, they had white, they had everything. And next, you got this shit. Now that there, right? Yeah, there's a little bit bravado, but with everything that's going on in the United States, you guys have weapons over there. Over here, it's more about fists, knives,
right,
stuff like that. So, we've got similar problems and we've got similar divides and we've got those divides in the communities, but don't blame the majority because of the minority. Just saying.
Well, you were talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect. To me, a classic case of that is, and I just watched it this morning. This dummy was pulled over for drinking and driving, and they tell her to get out of the car. And she says, I don't have to get out of the car. I know my rights. And they go, ma'am, I'm sorry, but we're giving you a lawful command. You need to get out of the vehicle. I don't have to get out, she said. I know my rights. So at this point, they break the glass and they open the car and they take her out. They go, turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. I'm not under arrest. I know my rights. You can't do that. I didn't do anything wrong. As they put her on the ground and they put her hands behind her back, they pick her up and she says, where are you taking me? And they go, you're going in the back of my car. You're going to jail. I'm not going to jail. I know my rights.
Oh, Jesus.
And of course, it skips to the part where they're walking her in the jail. That is a perfect example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. She thinks in her mind, she honestly believes that she knows more than they know, as they're dog walking her. And we've seen that before in a video, just so everybody remembers, on stage, everybody saw it. Okay, dog walking her into the jail. That's it right there.
Right, let me tell you a little story. Now that we're talking about police and everything, let me tell you a little bit about a story. Many, many years ago in a far, far galaxy, I just bent my fucking toe. Oh, you cockwink. Fucking duck.
Oh, God. See, you're going to be talking Guyanese again, and you don't have subtitles on.
Yeah, fuck no. Oh, yeah.
You just need to go, hallelujah,
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I bet your Finkster muscle just clenched right on up, didn't
Fucking,
it?
it opened up like a B-17 Bombay doors. I swear to God, that fucking hurt. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, God, that even made me sweat as well. That pain.
Imagine giving birth, having
Oh,
some, you think that pain hurt. Come on now. All
oh
us women out there, can I get a hell yeah?
hell yeah! Anyway, before you start looking for the Medal of Honor here, let's just move on. Right. Oh, God, my fucking toe. Anyway, many years ago in a far, far galaxy, far, far away, there was one point where the police would go into schools or come to, especially if you're driving. And once we had a big 3-day safety awareness thing in camp. So they put like this car that they got from a scrapyard that was involved in an accident, and they put that right in front of the gate, well, next to the gate, drink driving and speed and all that. And they decided to bring the police in, and the traffic police who deal with road accidents. And we're all sitting there, the RSM walked in, sit up, and we all sat up. And then they came in and they said, right, we're going to now talk about accidents, drinking, driving, blah, 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 speed and all that shit. Well, all right then. But before we do that, we're going to show you a small film. Oh, right, okay. Yes, porn. Yeah. That means the lights go off and we can go to sleep. Oh, no, I went to sleep. Actually, a lot of people ended up throwing up. Basically, it was actually a video taken by the crime scene when they video a accident and a crime scene. And because obviously there was, I don't know if it was a stolen car or something like that, but it caused a major accident. 2 pedestrians, 1 motorbike, 2 other cars, and the car itself. And the motorbike rider, 2 pedestrians DOA. The motorbike rider got richly slashed in half. And in one of the other cars that got hit, obviously 2 people were unalived. And they showed us the whole scene. This and basically this was the road safety, safety thing. What do you call it? What they call it? Road Safety Awareness Campaign. There you go. Road Safety Awareness Campaign. And they showed us everything. And then they went into pictures and different accidents, like with military vehicles and stuff like that. People in the military have lost their lives due to accidents. And, so, and I swear to God that, they stopped doing that because it upset people. And people, I think this day and age, people need to be dragged out of their car. If they've been drinking or on drugs or anything else or impaired, they need to be dragged out, taken to the next nearest hospital, down to the morgue, shown unalive people, then taken and shown that video or that film. And that 99% of the time, that'll knock sense into them, or they'll just stop driving.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of sick. I would like to watch it. I find stuff like that it fascinates me. Watching that kind of stuff, I don't get sick. I don't, I ain't that kind of girl. I like to see things. I like to see how you see how things happen. Stuff like that blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean the problem is with we've definitely gone off the police thing now, but I'm going to go back onto it. At the end of the day, all right. Well, going back onto the walruses, the KRAMPONS, the fleas, whatever you want to call them, right? This needs to stop. And I'm going to say this publicly now. They need to be stopped. They need to be taken off the platform, or they need to have some sort of restraint put on them that they can't, if they want to publicize something, videos only. Because what they're doing, they are dragging innocent people who actually do care about HG, and they do care about that child. And that's what they're playing on. They're playing on people's emotions when it comes to that. And they just need to stop. It needs to stop. And the fact that you've got, Jeremy Hells and George and other people who were dragged into this by frivolous lawsuits with oh, my toe is thumping now, with the
wah, wah, wah.
Shut up, right? With the thumbnail case and with the trespass, like The moment he typed in invasion, right, I knew for a fact it was going to go tits up. I knew for a fact he was going to make up some shit. And here's the thing. Obviously, he doesn't know a lot about tenant and landlord law, because the thing is, if you are on a property, you are then considered a tenant. Therefore, the landlord has to legally give you time to get off. And if you need help to remove your items, the landlord cannot dictate to you who can come on a property or who you should use to remove items. Right? You can ask anybody. And because he asked for help, he received the help not just from the I call them the Fab Six, not just from the individuals who were there to help, but also from Corporal Gregory. Now, I hope that Madam Mayor and Brett, I hope they sue them and Doucheboy and the Fleas back into the Stone Age. I really do. I'm walking off. Leave me alone, Lisa. I really do, because what they've done, right? What Bruce has done, he's created a black hole of pure, unadulterated hate and lies. And when it comes to, and I hope that Lisa Rabusi and Tori Jones are listening to what I'm saying. You two need to seek professional help. You need to stop with what you're doing, because you are now so deep in that hole, right? I would personally contact any mining company and ask them if they can certify you in mining, because you're so deep now that you richly do need air supply, because I think there's a lot of lack of air getting into your brain, and you are making up more lies, you are fabricating more lies, and you are just making the situation for yourself much worse. And you don't deserve to be on this platform or any platform that. And the fact that you actually incite people to go after other individuals on this platform, on other platforms, and then you make indirect or direct, or whatever people want to say, you make the indirect or direct threats. You better not be in Otter Creek. Okay, that is a threat. Considering that people who come to your stream and who hang out in your stream, such as bearded, whatever he's called, fisherman, right, who actually made the own statement that I am a very violent person, and the fact that you've got John Cook, who has pointed and basically pointed a pew at individuals, not just once but multiple times, right, and has actually stated in his own words, "Touches my car, it's going to go bang bang." And the fact that Lynette Preston has also got a weapon, or had one. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to look at this from outside the box. You take those blinkers off, all right, and look at this in a bigger picture. Right? Now, if it is true, that that Lisa stated, and if it's true, this is allegedly speculation until we find the proof. If it is true that she stated that money is for her, not for Lynette or for the Barnuminium, that there, ladies and gentlemen, is RICO, because that is then international fraud.
Well, the thing with Lynette about them coming on there and getting that camper is, I don't want her to be filmed. Yeah. I'll ask the chat. Maybe I'm wrong, so let me ask the chat. I have yet to see one video produced from that day that in any way, shape, or form shows that baby girl on it.
There isn't. The only thing
Travis did his, it didn't show her. Madam Mayer's didn't show her. Deanna's didn't show her. Mm-hmm. And to my knowledge, and I may be wrong, so again, I say I may be wrong, but I've never seen Jeremy show a video with that baby on it. But I have seen TC show a video with her on it.
Yes.
I've seen Lisa show a video with her
on
it.
The only thing on that day, from that child, anything, was you could hear her ask one of them, "Are you a YouTuber?"
Correct. But I've never seen her image produced by any of
Nope.
those people involved. I
Nope.
haven't seen one. And trust me when I tell you that I look at everything. I have to. I have to know because people ask me questions. Sometimes, I mean, I'll get Sarah Joy will tell you this is true. Sometimes I'll get, and you've seen some of the messages I've gotten 50 to 75 messages in one day
Yeah.
that people are asking me questions. So I have to be able to answer those questions. So yeah, I do watch everything. I do kind of keep up with what's going on. But I have never seen Jeremy put that baby girl
Nope.
up
Nope.
on a video ever. When he
Nope.
goes by the house, he doesn't get her playing. And if he does, he takes that out. So is his videos edited? Yes, to a degree they are. Just like when you get body cam footage back from the police department, it's been redacted, it's been edited. It happened. I mean, you take that stuff out. Anybody puts a video up anywhere, I don't care who you are, they edit it to take out, dull parts where nothing's happening, where you just see the really good parts. But I have yet to see that child in any video. If it wasn't for TC and Lisa, I wouldn't know what the child looks like now.
Mhm.
And the pictures that Lionel herself has posted, I wouldn't know what the child looks like.
I mean, here's the thing. When I was doing some research after that website went up, excuse me, when that website went up, when I was doing some research, and it was actually quite a surprise to me when people were sending me pictures, and I was like, "Yeah, they're fucked," because what? I mean, I'm not going to use them. I have actually deleted them, I believe. There were pictures of Lynette at the beach, and there were other pictures of Lynette and the little one. Okay,
Yeah,
now
she
one
posted those.
right, and they seemed happy, but at the same time,
Absolutely.
right, just hear me out for a second. At the same time, you've got a problem. Lisa and the Crampons, or the Crampons, right, did not know about Lynette Preston and John Cook until Jeremy started posting videos. They then involved themselves. They injected themselves into this situation, and then they must have privately contacted Lynette and something else. And then suddenly, they are now part of the mouthpiece for Lynette and everything else. Now, it's not Jeremy or George's or anyone else's responsibility of what they put on that website. Now, they used that child, like Lynette has, to make a monetary gain. They weaponized her and they turned her into the face piece of a campaign to make money. And if anyone doesn't realize or doesn't understand that, then go back and watch all their videos and you will see a pattern. And that's how it worked. Because before that, okay, there's only a couple of videos them talking about Jeremy and the house, the hoarder's house. Before that, she and other people were richly attacking a couple, right, because of certain things. And you'll also see in that pattern that the relationship between Tori, Lisa, Robbie, right, was longer than people actually think and believe. So if you go back, and this is over the last 5 years, not over the last 2 years, this goes back quite a while. So there is a pattern, and because if hypothetically Jeremy had never publicly mentioned about the legal issues going on with Lynette and John, right, you wouldn't hear the Crampons on their platform going on and on and on and on about it. They would not have access to the CCTV system at that property. They would not have anything. They would just be normal YouTubers. But you see the pattern there? You see where this pattern's going? Mm-hmm. So they can sit on their platform as much. As far as I'm concerned, months ago, I decided anything they say is a lie. If they say they're on fire, I want to see flames. Simple as. And here's the thing you have to think about. Gabe Weeks, right? He has outstanding payments that he has to do to the victims he ripped off. If you go and check and find, say again.
She says that's a civil case. It's not a felony case. It's felony probation and found, pled to a felony charge, but it's a civil case, remember?
Yeah, it's a felony.
Yeah.
It is a felony case, and he will not be off probation until 2028. So,
Exactly.
I mean, Lisa, come on, get your head out your ass, or the other way around, whatever one want what you talk with, all right? And come to the terms of fact. Now, here's the thing: there is so much evidence that every single penny you received was for donations. Most of it, 90% of it. All right, the 10% are the super chats and the web. That's by and by. But you've had one major donation of £56,000 or $56,000. That was for the barnuminium. Right? There are multiple statements stating that. And now, if this is true, where you state that that was for you and not for Lynette, all right, I think there's going to be a lot of. I think that the federal and state RICO law and federal RICO laws are going to come to bite you in that large bottom you've got. And let's put it this way: it's that big that I don't think they'll miss.
And let me quote Lisa on that too. When that donation came in, she said, "Oh my God, is this real?" And she said, "I got to check on this." Then she comes back and she says, "I think if this is real, guys, I'm checking on it. If this is real, it's almost enough to finish the barnuminium." And then she comes back and she says, "It's real. It's real. It's enough to finish everything needed for the barnuminium." So why isn't it finished? This is April. That was made back in, I do believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe that was made back in December. This is 4 months later.
1 second. I'm just going to mute my mic because I need to stop. You carry on talking. I need to mute my mic because I want to check something.
Okay. All right. And we got to keep in mind too, people, don't forget this part, that Lynette had to apply for a permit. The way the homestead thing works, you can live in a camper or a trailer or something like that on your property while you're building your house. They give you X number amount of time, months or whatever, to complete that. Last year, around this time, she reapplied for her last extension to have that completed. Now, I don't know exactly when that extension, runs out. I don't know what the date is. But my guess is they're running on borrowed time. They better get their little selves together and get that going. Mark, they should have a complete accounting that they show. You don't have to show who it came from, but you should be able to show this is how much is needed. At this point in the game, as long as they've been doing it, they know how much is needed to finish that house. Let's just say you need $50,000 to finish it. Then you should have on the other side how many donations, each individual donation as it has come in. $20, $25. You don't have to say who donated it. That's nobody's business who donated it. Just that it was donated. Have an accounting of each individual payment that's come in and what it's for. Then you have, just like you do your checkbook or any other business that you run. Then over here, you start deducting those amounts from the total, and you see a running total of what's still needed to accomplish that particular item. It does two things. One, it lets people know that their money's making a difference. So they see, okay, we've collected, we need 50,000. We've collected 40,000. We only got 10,000 left to do. Come on, guys, we can do that 10,000. People will dig a little deeper. They might say, you know what? I ain't got to go out to eat this month. I'll take that $50 or $100 I spend at the restaurant, and I'm going to donate it to that cause. And you'll get your money quicker that you need for that particular item. That's good business. I mean, Lisa says she's been in the music business, so she's been in business all of her life. And she says that she knows how to run a business. And if she does, and Gabe owns his own business, this is how you work a business. You let the people know what's going on. You be upfront with them and you show them what's happening. And therefore, when you need something else down the road, because I mean, let's face facts. If y'all think the barnuminium is going to be the end of it, then y'all got another thing coming. Because the next thing is going to be, what about lawyer fees? And she's gonna have to pay the taxes, and she's gonna need this and she's gonna need that. So if whoever donates and wants to donate is going to continue to support this family, and if you do, more power to you. But you have a right to know what's needed, because if only 50,000 is needed, at the point that you get to 50,000, then you know to stop donating. If not, you think you're still donating to a cause that doesn't even exist anymore. And that's what hurts whenever you're doing fundraising. That's what really, really hurts.
Oh, you're gonna fucking love this. I just need to listen to the next one. Carry on, guys. You know when
Is it what I sent you?
Yeah. Do you know when
Okay.
when we talk about oh Jesus Christ. I'll be right back.
See, he's just like a dog with a bone. He's just like a dog with a bone. Look, exactly, Sarah Joy. The check thing. There may not be an actual business bank account that's listed under the what the hell's. Sarah Joy says, Lisa said the other night that she's never seen JH tear up a check before. He's done it several times. She didn't see it because he has. Exactly. All right. My husband and I had a business. We had an upholstery business. Then we had our own personal checking account. I had somebody send a business check to what they thought the name of the actual business was, but the actual name of the business was not what we called ourselves. The business name was different. They sent me a check under the name that is not in the actual bank account. I couldn't deposit that check because it wasn't written to the corresponding bank account that it had to go into. So I had to contact that person, give them the correct information to send a check, because we didn't normally take checks. We just took cash or credit. And they had to reissue me a check. So yeah, it happens. It's business, people. It's a business. And if you're doing your business correctly and you're not scamming the government and you're not doing something you shouldn't be doing, you have to do it correctly. If you don't, you're held responsible for that. So absolutely, I believe he tore that check up. There's not a question in my mind. And I hope that the person that donated that to his legal fees, turns around and issues a money order or a check in just his name so that he can cash it, or they do what he suggested and just send it straight to Randy at Shockett Law Firm. That's the best way to do it. Then it goes to the attorney. You ain't got no questions about it. Exactly, Agent Joe. I think Spawn's got to watch out for a lot of things. Exactly, Joseph. Exactly. They told him to make it as a gift and not a donation. As a gift and not a donation.
Well, fucking well.
Did I do good?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the walruses, the KRAMPONS,
And I was sent that, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
The person's in the chat that sent that to me, so they'll know that that's their stuff whenever they hear it.
Yeah, right. Well, enjoy this. Oh, wait. Oh boy, this is when we were talking about confidence and knowledge, so you got knowledge going down, you got confidence going up. Now you've got ignorance going up to the peak, and then you've got culture coming down, and then you've got confidence gap. right? And then you got expertise, yeah? Well, just listen. Just listen. Mute your mic, my pretty.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, you couldn't make this shit up even if you tried.
He's a bully. Let me tell you something. Between him and his wife have done, and then watch it.
Oh, just for the record, this is being used for fair use and part of the topic. And basically, it's been sped up a little bit, but it is for fair use. There's no intentions of anything negative. It's just for you to listen, but just enjoy.
He's a bully. Let me tell you something. Between him and his wife have done, and then watch him if you know the truth. Okay? He always sounds like a little tattletale. Yeah, that guy's a bully. Let me tell you something. Between him and his wife have done online, wife, ex-wife, or whatever, they have been bullies for a long time. And there's like it's not a statement, but there's let's say an article that he wrote on bullying as a counselor. And I couldn't believe that. So I was like, you know what, Ted? You want to talk shit? You want to lie about my channel? You don't come here and you're going to lie. I'm going to comment on you now because I haven't really. You know, I don't watch your channel, but now I have. I have watched it. So.
A grifter is a con artist, someone who swindles people out of money through fraud. If there's one type of person you don't want to.
Now, what I want you to do, I want you to pay attention to what is now said. Okay? Pay attention to what is said. Right? Not how it's being said, but what is being said. Okay? So, yeah. Just, yeah.
You know, I don't watch your channel, but now I have. I have watched it. So.
A grifter is a con artist, someone who swindles people out of money through fraud. If there's one type of person you don't want to trust, it's a grifter, someone who cheats others out of money. Grifters are known as chiselers, defrauders, gougers, scammers, swindlers, and flim-flam men. Selling a bridge and starting a Ponzi scheme are things a grifter might do. The difference between a grifter and a thief is a grifter tricks you out of money through lies, while a thief takes it by force. The end result is the same. So, in order for Lisa to be a grifter, she would have to lie to you as to why she has collected money. An example would be saying, hey, send me money for
offense.
for offense for Michelle and John. Right. And the money is collected and she buys herself a new car and there is no fence.
Right.
Right. I don't even know how to fucking say this. Right. Can you all remember around September, around that time when they were talking about the fence and they were still outstanding $1,270 and they needed that. And then suddenly within the same stream, they're going, oh my God, we just had an anonymous donor who's donated the rest of the money for the fence. And then a couple of weeks later, they started bringing out these Amazon lists and everything else. Just leave that in your mind. Just keep that in your mind. Just write it down, keep it in your mind. Okay. So we're looking at certain processes now. We're looking at what they're saying and what we've seen and heard and noticed and everything else. All right. Now, around, I say October, November, I say September, October, around them that time, they were going on about the new fence and everything else. And, you know, and they were grifting for the new fence. Right. And they received half of it. They got half of it together. And then after a while, someone, you know, the anonymous donor gave them the rest. So they already had the money for the fence. Okay. Now that all accumulated to be around $4,500 to $5,000. Right. If you go back, you'll see it. And then they started, going, oh, fucking hell, we can make some money here. And then that's when the grift started really, the ball started rolling. Now let's listen to the rest of it, shall we? This is fucking stupid.
Be saying, hey, send me money for
offense.
for offense for Michelle and John. Right. And the money is collected and she buys herself a new car and there is no fence.
Right.
That is a very obvious example of a grift.
Right.
What she said she was collecting it for does not appear. Then it's a grift. Well, guess what? She said,
I never asked anybody for anything.
I'm going to have a Christmas for this child. And other people said, I'm sending stuff too. And she says, fine, I'll collect it. You know what happened? Stuff showed up at their home for Christmas. Decorations and food and gifts that were all wrapped by wrapping paper that people sent in. That is a truth. People bought gift cards and sent money in for a fence. And magically, woof, a fence appeared Actually, that happened first. The fence appeared first. But the fence appeared. That's not a grift because she said, I'm getting this for the fence, and the fence appeared.
Right.
Therefore, she didn't lie. There is no grift. She bought supplies for the barn.
He's a bully. Let me tell you something. Between him and his wife have done, and then what?
Right. Sorry, I was looking for the right button there. Right. So you're telling me collecting for the fence twice, Christmas gifts, Christmas present, well, Christmas gifts, Christmas lights, and anything else. My pretty, would you like to jump in on this one? Because I'm about to say something that's going to be very, very fucking to the point. Basically, let me point something out to you. I've still got another video to play. All right. Let me put it this way. You receive the full sum to buy the fence. Then you start grifting. Then you don't talk about the fence for a while. Then you go on about HG, about the gifts and everything else. Then suddenly you start dropping out about the fence, about the Lowe's gift cards and stuff like that. Now, you were getting a shitload, and I mean a ton load of donations. Okay, besides the memberships and besides the super chats and everything else, even some of the super chats were donations, and you even just said that you even got Christmas paper donated to you. All right, but you seem to have failed to mention about the Amazon, 2 Amazons, by the way, and like it was like you laughed about it. But here's the thing. The only proof that the money went to a certain place was the fact that they had gifts. That's one. The fact that the panels, and we're talking about the cheapest panels you can find.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. And the fact that you bought the minimum you needed for that fence to build the fence. For example, right, the ground there is very sandy. Right. What about the hard base, and what about putting 2 to 3 bags of cement in it to ensure that stuff will stay down? Because what you've created is a sail. You have created a sail. Right. That fence has turned into a sail, and the fact that now that they've decided to put the metal pieces on top of that fence to heighten that fence, you are now over the 6 foot. So therefore, would there be legislation or certification about the height of the fence? That's by and by. But we're talking about the grift here. Now, you've been grifting way before Christmas, way before. But the fact that you grifted twice for that fence, all right? Now, here's another thing. Jeff, for example, has the same panels. Coincidence? Or did you also buy fence panels for him? Speculation, allegedly. Now, let's go to the next video, shall we? Mute your mic, Pretty.
Okay, I got you.
This is fucking hilarious. This is fucking insanity.
Let me tell you something. Between him and his wife have done, and then watch him if you know the truth. Okay? He always sounds like a little tattletale. Yeah, that guy's a bully. Let me tell you something. Between him and his wife have done online, ex-wife, or whatever, they have been bullies for a long time. And there's like it's not a statement, but there's let's say an article that he wrote on bullying as a counselor. And I couldn't believe that. So I was like, you know what, Ted? You want to talk shit? You want to lie about my channel? You don't come here and you're going to lie. I'm going to comment on you now because I haven't really. You know, I don't watch your channel, but now I have. I have watched it. So.
A grifter is a con artist, someone who swindles people out of money through fraud. If there's one type of person you don't want to trust, it's a grifter, someone who cheats others out of money. Grifters are known as chiselers, defrauders, gougers, scammers, swindlers, and flim-flam men. Selling a bridge and starting a Ponzi scheme are things a grifter might do. The difference between a grifter and a thief is a grifter tricks you out of money through lies, while a thief takes it by force. The end result is the same. So, in order for Lisa to be a grifter, she would have to lie to you as to why she has collected money. An example would be saying, hey, send me money for
a fence.
for a fence for Michelle and John. Right. And the money is collected and she buys herself a new car and there is no fence.
Right.
That is a very obvious example of a grift.
Right.
What she said she was collecting it for does not appear. Then it's a grift. Well, guess what? She said,
I never asked anybody for anything.
I'm going to have a Christmas for this child. And other people said, I'm sending stuff too. And she says, fine, I'll collect it. You know what happened? Stuff showed up at their home for Christmas. Decorations and food and gifts that were all wrapped by wrapping paper that people sent in. That is a truth. People bought gift cards and sent money in for a fence. And magically, woof, a fence appeared. Actually, that happened first. The fence appeared first. But the fence appeared. That's not a grift because she said, I'm getting this for the fence. And the fence appeared.
Right.
Therefore, she didn't lie. There is no grift. She bought supplies for the barn.
Wait, are they both of those videos the same? Or my fucking... Where is it? This one?
And then watch him if you know the truth. Okay? He always sounds...
While a thief takes it by force, the end result is a success. Decorations and food and gifts that were all wrapped by wrapping paper that people sent in. That is a truth. People bought gift cards and sent money in for a fence. And magically, woof, a fence appeared. Actually, that happened first. The fence appeared first. But the fence appeared.
Yeah,
She bought supplies for the...
yeah, that's that one.
All the money that was donated. I did that already. And then he brings up money, right? He starts talking about the money, all the money that was donated, all this stuff. He starts talking about David, okay? Now, the night before, he was talking about David. And some of you may get mad at me here. But he was literally going off on David. He told David to go fuck off, right? And I'm like, why are you telling David to go fuck off? Because he's not coming at you when you're begging him to come there because you think something's wrong over here. Hey, come over here, and he's not coming. You and Megan both did that. Why? Because you want him to be sending you money or something like that? Why are you telling him to fuck off? Because he didn't answer you. You know? Because that's what it sounded like to me. Which I was quite surprised about. But he starts going off on David and fraud and stuff, claiming that I made videos of David. But that's a lie. Absolute lie. I did no way. I did not make any videos of David. That's an absolute lie. He said that John trashed David. John did not trash David.
No, actually, they stayed out of it.
Yeah. So he needs to get over the money given to help me do what I was doing. It wasn't a fundraiser. It was not donations because it was given to me to help me. It's not donation. It may have been called a donation or something, or because that's what people actually, think if they're doing something, it's a donation. But I want to know, anybody in the chat, type a 1 if you believe, if you actually donated, here's where I donated, if you actually put money in a super chat, sent an Amazon gift, or put any money into anything that we've done here, type a 1 in the chat if you are considering it a donation and calling it a donation.
Actually, I don't call it a donation. I called it a gift.
Okay, it is a gift. So,
given freely with no expectation.
Okay, so they're all typing the 1. It's 2. See, there you go. Some people. Okay.
So Stacy said gift.
Let's redo this. Because I do it.
Gift.
I do it. Yeah. Okay. If you all believe it was a gift, there you go. They're typing gift. There you go. Okay.
Gift.
Is there anybody here who thinks that it was a fundraiser?
It wasn't. It was not a fundraiser.
I know. But
fundraisers are actually like well organized ahead of time.
Yeah.
They don't happen spontaneously.
Each one was a fly off the cup. I literally sat here saying, "Oh, really? Oh, hell no! This girl's getting a Christmas." Blah blah blah. The only thing that was
how would I buy something too? I want to contribute to this. Yeah. That's how it happened.
Well, let me just say this, that I did go in with someone and purchase a gift for Harley for Christmas and sent it. I contributed to that, and I considered it a donation. So let me just go on record as saying that I considered it a donation. I was donating to a Christmas for this baby girl. I considered it a donation. I was donating money to this cause.
No, what we just heard was her basically admitting she basically just admitted ripping off fucking David Richards. She just admitted ripping him off because he basically said it was a donation for the Bannerminium. Mm-hmm. And now she's saying that it wasn't, it was for her. Oh, fucking hell. Come on. Jesus Christ, people. Really? And then people want to attack me or attack people like me because of our spell, or because we're from fucking United Kingdom or from Europe, that we're not Americanese, that we don't know fuck all about America, but you just heard it but from the fucking horse's mouth. Jesus Christ. Don't take the night. No, I'm sorry. I mean, come on. What else do people need to see proof-wise or evidence-wise? What else do people need to see? Or need to hear?
They're not going to believe it.
What do you need to see the fact that these two absolute fucking buffoons rip people off? And now they're doing fucking damage control. And like, when I was saying that, one person sort of like supports the other person's comments, you just heard it there yourself. The way Lisa's gone, because she thinks that she's got away with a bloody con. And then you got Tori going, oh yeah, go to your happy place. Go to your happy place. Go to your happy place. I'm right now sitting in my happy place. It is a Challenger tank, and I'm a gunner. Jesus Christ! I mean, seriously. I mean, like, yeah, whoopee shit. You got the fence, yeah. You got the Christmas light, way. All right, but you just admitted that you've got gift cards and donations for the fence, but you already had the fucking money for the fence.
And remember, this could all be solved so easily.
Text now.
But it's not. It could be solved. I don't know that it could be solved easily at this point because the damage has been done. But in the very beginning, I was telling them while you were away, if they had just showed accountability, and just been very transparent with how many donations came in, what the total was, what your goal was, just like GoFundMe does. GoFundMe, you have a goal. You give donations, it can be done anonymously, and GoFundMe subtracts those donations from the goal, and it tells you how much is still left to get until the end of the goal. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, I've got, like, for say things, for Sart Mitch, I've got a GoFundMe link at the top, right? I am in communication with him. He showed me transparency. He showed me what help he needs because he is in a situation. And that's transparency. But the thing is, right, this is what I can't understand, and please forgive me if I sound fucking stupid, but we haven't seen no physical or practical or written evidence where the money went from, where it came from, where it went from, and what it was used for. The only proof that exists is physical proof of a fence, of Christmas lights, Christmas decorations, and Christmas presents, and flags of each other's channels. That's the only evidence that you have. Yes, screenshots of their Amazon accounts are being posted and everything. Fine. But there has been not 1 ounce of fucking transparency. And I've said this from day one. All right? And here's another thing. Bruce Matskin started a GoFundMe and he made $4,200. Where's all this money gone? Now, we can all sit here and allegedly say this, that, and speculate this and that. But at the end of the day, no facts, no evidence, nothing, except that the people have to take what they say for granted. So basically, that means your word of mouth is suffice. Well, ladies, it's not. I mean, I can already prove that you've lied for your teeth. I can prove that Robbie has lied for his teeth. And I did that months ago. And here we are. Now they're sitting on their platform defending themselves. And the fact that they dragged David through the shit in their stream, and then he went over to Guapo, a.k.a. Andrew Alvarez, and got dragged through the crap there as well. If I was able to talk to David right now, I would tell him, I would literally drive to his house And I would say, right, show me the physical evidence. And if he showed me physical evidence of the money he sent, I would then take that, copy it, redact all personal information, and put it online and show people the truth. Because that is the only way now that you are going to physically see evidence of what they've done. Because you can't take what they say serious. You can't take what they say as gospel now or as truth. You can't.
No, it's too much. Too much water's under the bridge. You can't just do that. You can't. I mean, I've been scarred for this from life. I'll never just take at face value what I'm told by people ever again. I will always, my mind from this point on in life will always say, wait a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
let me think outside that box.
yeah, I mean, it's like when we helped Eric. Eric needed help, and we done that. We helped him. And he's now much more mobile than before. We're helping Sark Mitch. Hopefully he'll get the people who will help him, and then we'll help another person. When it comes to me posting links for people's GoFundMes, I always want transparency. I always want proof. And if I don't have any, I don't see any, I say no. Right? Because one thing I've learned about this whole situation, all right, is that one side has proof, has facts, has evidence, and basically can actually confirm what's being said and done. The other side, it's just by mouth. It's just, oh, well, you have to believe what I say.
I had a lady that contacted me through Messenger. She was a member in the group, and she wanted to put her GoFund. She wanted to put up a post where she said her oven was messed up and she needed to get a new oven, and she was trying to get donations to get this new oven. Well, it just so happened that in my little scooting through Facebook world and different groups associated with the situation, back in November at Thanksgiving time, now this was about a month and a half ago that she come to me, but back in November I had seen her post the same comment up in the Levy County website, saying that she needed an oven to cook her turkey dinner for Thanksgiving in that. So I brought that out, and I called her on her bullshit. Well, she went off on me. I mean, she lost her mind on me, which it was actually kind of fun. But anyway, I digress. She totally lost her mind because I acknowledged and proved, because I had a screenshot of this before, and I proved that it was the thing. And I told her when she had contacted me about it that, no, I wasn't going to put that up in the group because I didn't believe it. I wasn't putting it up there.
I mean, look, I'm not. Oh my fucking toe! I'm not a vindictive person, all right? I work off proven evidence, and from what I've seen, I mean, I've just had a look at that fake Facebook group, and an anonymous participant, fucking idiots, has posted "The internet is forever," and they've posted the actual website, and I'm not going to name it, but they've richly posted the archive, right? And that there is enough evidence, right? That they lie through their teeth, but you'll still get people who go in that stream and they will still fucking throw their money at them, and here we have, right? Eric's done 94 miles on his scooter. Well done, no speeding, bud. Right?
Oh wow!
Right, and he's a veteran. We've got Sark Mitch who needs a bit of help. Right, hopefully we'll be able to help him. Right, and we achieved that. We achieved to help Eric in a short period of time, and we have to thank Snowflower for that. And she's always going to have a spot in my heart for that. Right, and her husband was Navy as well, and you've got me. I don't want anything from anybody. If people do it, then that's entirely up to them, but it will always get paid for it. But the fact that you've got people sitting on a freaking I nearly swore it, on a freaking platform, okay, grifting and scamming money out of people, and then saying, "Oh yeah, that £56,000 was for me," when it was actually, in fact, a donation for the barnuminium. But you've pushed that under the carpet. You've pushed that under the carpet because sometimes people have a memory of a goldfish, right? They'll see something like tonight. So, oh yeah, spawn troopers. Oh yeah, he's giving it large lips. No, I'm not. I'm actually proving some fucking facts here today, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, right? And then the next day after that, people won't even remember what we said tonight. And I'm not saying that happens with everyone, but it does happen. But the fact of the matter is that those two have lied. They have not shown any factual proof except defense. Other than that, no written proof, no receipts, nothing. Right? And if I was the tax man, and if I was an investigative team from over there, and I'd be looking at this, and I'd be going, well, hang on a minute, does the IRS know? I mean, $56,000 is actually above the gift level. I think $10,000 is the maximum you can give as a gift.
Yeah, I mean, she keeps saying I don't have to pay my taxes till April 13th. I don't know I forget what date it is. April, whatever it is. I don't have to pay my taxes. So you mean you're going to pay taxes on that $56,000?
Makes you question it.
I mean, common sense would say that if you're going to do something like that and you're going to collect that kind of money, then you would start a 501(c)(3) that would be tax exempt to accept donations.
Yep.
But you're going to pay taxes. You're going to pay income taxes on all this money you've collected, and you're going to pay that out of your pocket. That just, again, I'm not saying she's telling a story. I'm just saying these are the red flags that pop up in our brains. And this is why we question the things that we do. This is why nobody takes it at face value, because common sense has to come into play. I watched Judge Judy, and Judge Judy says that a lot. She says, if it doesn't make sense, it didn't happen. Things happen, but they make sense. And I mean, no harm meant, but I'm not paying income tax on a donation for somebody else. I might love a lot of people, but that's not happening. I'm not doing that. Because income tax on $56,000 plus whatever my regular income is with whatever I do, that would put me in a higher tax bracket than I am right now. I'm not that stupid. I'm not getting that back. Why would I give the government that money? So see, it just doesn't make sense what she says. It's not a fundraiser. It's not donations. It's a gift.
Yeah, it does. All
that.
Yeah, it does. It does make you question, doesn't
it? Exactly. So you can't get mad at us for questioning these types of things. You cannot get mad at people for saying it doesn't make sense, and then you're not willing to come in and alleviate these suspicions. You're not willing to give any information to, for instance, guy stops you for DUI and he says to you, are you willing to take a field sobriety test to alleviate my concerns with your ability to drive? And the people go, well, if I don't take the field sobriety test, what does that mean? Well, then I have to make my judgment based on what I see. So you're forcing us to make a judgment based on the evidence that we see. You're not giving us anything else to make a different decision with. You're not giving us the tools that we need to come up with a different scenario. Common sense has to come into play at some point in all of this. And I realize that there's some that's just not going to grasp that common sense part. And that's okay. I understand that. I used to wonder how people I used to question how in the world did all these people follow Hitler and do everything that he told them to do? Why didn't their brain, and I'm just saying, why didn't their brain pop in and say, wait a minute, this isn't right? But I see how that transpires. I see how people get manipulated.
Yeah.
I see how that happens through all of this. I have witnessed that type of thing happening. And it's because people don't know the whole story. They're not given all the information. They're making a decision based on a little bit of something. And it's just that's how I see it happen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this is the way I see it. And by the way, Eric, thanks very much. I have put the link in the description. Now, the way I see it is this. Okay, when people put up GoFundMe's or any type of link in regards to support and everything, right? for me, it hasn't put me off supporting people, because I do support like Combat Stress and SAFA, and I do help other veteran services like the British Legion sometimes, once in a blue moon. But when it comes to GoFundMe's, every time it comes to GoFundMe, I want updates, I want transparency, I want to see, and I like I said, and Eric's here, and Eric can confirm this. I was badgering him for evidence, proof, everything, right? And it wasn't because I distrusted him. It was because I didn't want people to attack him or me or anyone else, right, who supported him, yeah, and say, well, you're saying this about the crampons, but you're doing this, right? And he would show me proof. He would show me evidence. We would chat and talk, and excuse me, I was quite content to support him, but not because he's a veteran, but also because he needed help, right? And I saw the evidence, I saw the transparency, and the same thing with Sergeant Mitch. And this is what you need. You need at least one person who will see, right, okay, they're the bills, right, okay, right, here's what we've bought, right, okay, this is that, this is this, right, yep, no problem, right, make a fucking site, go, get a GoFundMe, right, put the donations that you've got, put the donations on that GoFundMe, right, and then put updates and put transparency so people can see where it is. All you have to do is redact all the personal information, addresses, invoice numbers and shit like that. You can redact half of them and that, right? You can redact information and put it out there so people can see, oh, right, okay, you paid that much for 10 times post, 20 times cement, 100 or 50, 60 times fence panels, total so much, right? Okay, you've been donated $56,000, right? So where's the invoice for the electrician, the plumber? Where's the invoice for the carpentry team to build the housing inside the barnuminium? You know what I mean? So there's always a chain that you can follow. There's a pattern, or there's a line that you're reading, and you've seen everything that's happening. But with them, all it's been is mouth. It's like, yeah, give me that, give me $2,000, give me this, give me that. This is for that. This is for that. The only thing that's come out of this, and I'm going to repeat myself again, the only thing that has come out of this on factual proof that we have is that they've bought flags, which were irrelevant. I don't know why they did that. They bought electrical blow up Christmas stuff, which you can only use once a year. So, they've bought loads of gifts for the kids, which is why they did it. And, I'm not saying they didn't do it. And to everyone who did buy presents for him, thank you very much for that. And for Harley. But first it was just for Harley. Then it turned out for ever 5 or 6 other kids that were not part of this. Okay? Right? And the fact that you bought John Timberlake's, that money was not for him. That money was for the child. That money was for the fence. That money was to make their property better, cleaner, safer. So why the hell were you giving presents to him or to her? Those presents, all those gifts should have went, all that money should have went to that child, not to them. Not to these freaking Christmas lights, not to these Christmas decorations, and especially not to a large box of Miller Lite alcohol and fireworks and other stuff. You see, the thing is, people pay attention to what you do, right? And the fact that you allow some absolute pleb of a human being, right, who's better than rolling down the road than walking down the road, right? You've got freaking Biscuit Boy, right, walking around there like if he was part of the property, owning the property, right, filming her and the child and everyone else. There's no masks on. There's no screaming, oh, they're filming my child, my child has got a deadly disease, blah, blah, blah. All right, and he can do that. And then he has the audacity to then walk onto their property, right, to see how close they can get before the lights go on. The fact that he was antagonizing and trying to start some shit with DJ Rattis when he was at the town hall that night, all this is trying to take you away from the actual facts, Okay. And at the end of the day, I know some people don't like me because I hit the nail on the head and I hit nerves. And you know what? I don't really give a shit. All right. If I hit a nerve and it upsets you, okay, good. Because I'm sitting 9,000 miles away, all right, in a beautiful country called Wales. Oh, yeah. Okay. And you're sitting in your homes watching all this happen. But how many people who are sitting on the outside listening into this, how many of you are so stupid and gullible that you will give them your pensions, your hard-earned money? You know, why? And also, something else I would like to point out. When was the last time you saw a living, breathing turtle? The last time I saw anything animal-like that was still alive and breathing that looked somewhat safe were the two ducks hiding under the RV when they went in to get Lloyd's RV.
That is true.
Okay, so when?
Oh my God, that really is true. You're not joking. That's true.
Right. So when was the last time anyone? And these turtles, okay, these tortoises and turtles, they live for years. Tortoises and turtles can live up to 120, 150 years. Okay. And there's a picture of one in their property that was on his back. How the fuck? Anyway, but the fact of the matter is, when was the last time you saw a tortoise? Because the thing is, it's no longer a sanctuary, tortoise sanctuary. Not from what I've heard, because she hasn't updated her 501c3. Okay. And the fact that they actually living on that property allegedly living on that property illegally, because there's no, you know, I mean, they're living in a fucking caravan and apparently a shed, which is very unhealthy for a child. So they're either lying or it's true. Now, here's another thing, right, that people don't notice, but I have. I've looked at the evidence pictures from the police, and I've looked. And I can tell you right now that all three of them sleep in that caravan. I'm telling you that right now. And I think that the shed, right, is there for punishment.
It may be there for punishment at this point, but at one time she was living in the shed with the child, because my understanding is that CPS part of the safety plan that she couldn't stay in the camper with John.
Yeah, but here comes my question to you then, Pretty. I'm going to play devil's advocate then. Okay? So you're going to play Lynette. I'm going to be CPS.
Oh dear God. Okay, I can do that. I can access that. I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, are you holding on?
I am.
Okay, have you got your teeth in? Is everything ready?
Yeah, I might need some alcohol, but I'm all right so far. Let's go.
All right, yeah, okay, Miss Lynette, I need to ask you a couple of more questions before I leave. Can you tell me where you actually stay at night? Where the child stays at night?
She stays with me.
Where with you?
Right beside me. She sleeps right beside me.
Yeah, I'm not asking you where exactly she sleeps beside you. I'm talking in what domicile. Where do you sleep in the caravan? Where do you sleep in the barnuminium? Where do you sleep?
Of course I don't. I sleep exactly where I told you I was. We sleep out there in the shed because you know she can't be around John, because you know I have these concerns.
Okay, well,
Lynette,
Miss Lynette, please, Miss Lynette, please, just take a chill pill and just listen. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not interested. So why have you still got Mr. Cook on the property if you or she cannot be anywhere near him?
Well, what do you want me to do with him? His name is on the deed. There's nothing I can do.
Well, you can always ask him to go and stay with a friend for a couple of weeks while you sort out your accommodation.
No, I can't do that. He owns the property. I can't ask him to leave. I've called the police, and the police has told me there's nothing I can do about it.
Okay, so Miss Lynette. Well, the thing is here, the shed is not very secure. It's a metal shed. Therefore, at night it can become very cold, and during the day it can be very hot. And the child's obviously the child has medical conditions, as you've stated. So therefore, the child should be in a cool or in an environment where the temperature can be controlled.
Well, I'm doing exactly what you told me to do. That we had to separate our sleeping arrangements. I'm doing exactly what I'm told. I'm not doing anything any different. You know, we wouldn't be in this mess if people weren't coming and telling that stuff and lying about me. And that he's out there videoing, he's
Lynette,
stalking,
Miss
he's
Lynette,
taking pictures of my child's window.
Miss Lynette, I am not interested in one bit about the issues you have with your neighbours. But here's a little bit of advice. What I would give you, Miss Lynette, is what I would ask you to do is swap the situation. Put Mr. Cook in the shed, and you and the child sleep in the caravan. And what we'll do, we'll come back in 2029 or 2031, and we'll come and do a check on you if we decide we want to get our
Yeah, but I can't do that. His name is on the camper.
He can still move into the shed. You can swap around. You can live in the caravan with the child where it'll be warm.
You have the police come down here and you tell him that, because I tell him that
I
and he
will.
gets to drinking and he gets geared up and he gets to fussing at me and carrying on, and I just can't handle this stuff. You people just don't understand what's going on in my life.
Okay, Miss Lynette, just take a chill pill. Suck. You got that straw in the cup. Take a nice deep suck.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part.
You see, you see that now. Now here's the fucking question I've got is the fact that she makes all these fucking excuses, and all she had to do, or all they have to do, is clean that caravan out, swap the accommodation around, where the child and her sleep in the caravan and he's in the shed. He can make it, he can turn it, he can get some insulation and put it in there. Okay. They've got electric power. They can put fans and stuff like that in there. And at the end of the day, that doesn't stop him. So why is he sleeping in there and she's in the shed? Now, I'll tell you why. This is what happens when a couple has an argument, right? He ends up sleeping on the couch. She gets the fucking thing. But obviously with them, they're a little bit slow. So obviously, yeah. Right? Now, we know that all three of them sleep in that caravan. And here's why. If you look at the evidence, you'll notice there's toys everywhere. There are sweets everywhere. Okay. There's also children's clothing and bedding everywhere. Now, if you look, you'll notice, if you look at the bed very carefully, you'll notice that 3 people have slept on that bed. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and at some point, what you'll also see is that instead of him sleeping on the bed, he will sleep. When you come into the caravan and then turn right, that's where their seating area is, okay? And then right behind it is like the little bedroom. Now, there's a photo, when you walk in, you'll see there's a bench and there's actually a mattress laying on there with a blanket. And then not forgetting also the hammock as well. So I can tell you right now, right, when the kids went there and Lloyd wasn't there, she was sleeping in that in Lloyd's caravan. There was no way they would have been in the shed. So, yeah. Because
we do know the shed is used for I'm sorry. We do know the shed is used for punishment, because out of her own mouth, she says, "I'm going to put you in that shed if you don't stop."
Yep. Of course, she uses that shed for
Yeah. So, there's that.
This is an absolute shit fest. I mean, but anyway, so wait a minute, Spawn Trooper, you think they actually care what happens to that child? I have never heard of her say I love you. Well, no, all I've heard Lynette say is that she's very ill, no one can talk to her, she can't have contact with other human beings, and that she'll thump her in the mouth. That's what I've heard.
I think she don't get me wrong. I think Lynette loves the child. I really do. I think
in a very strange way.
As much as she knows how to love.
Yeah.
And if everybody should understand what I'm saying in that. She loves her as much as she knows how to love. But sometimes the love that you give people is not the love that they need. And that's the sad part. It's not the love that they need. But I do think she loves her, yes. But I don't think she shows her in the proper way.
I think this whole I'm still wanting to see the truth about this this adoption, because if you remember many moons ago, oh my fucking god, my toe, many moons ago, right? The Fleas, the KRAMPONS, the walruses, they had the woman who was actually responsible for the adoption on their stream, and when they were remember that?
Mm-hmm, I do remember it.
Right, and at one point she actually went, "Oh, that shouldn't happen. I need to check that."
I do remember that too.
Yeah. So, I mean, for someone who is actually responsible for the adoption to say something like that, that should be that people need to question that. Everything that's been going on, right, needs to be questioned. And like, I've watched Jeremy's streams over the last couple of days. I've been watching them, and seeing George actually taking lead on something the other day about Bruce's motions and stuff like that. They hit the nail on the head, exactly what me and Squid was saying and what other people have been saying about this whole thing. He has lied through his teeth. And the fact that he's been doing this from day one, and the fact that he's an ambulance chaser, and the fact that he did solicit all this, I still can't get over the fact that the feds have not done anything about this. This has gone beyond local constabulary, local PD. This has gone above. This is now state police or federal police that should be investigating this. And the fact that the CPS, right, don't get off their fat asses to actually go and check on the child. I mean, the last time I heard anything about CPS going there, they were standing in front of the cop car with the cop, and they were more worried about mosquitoes than they were about going onto that property, right? So, and the fact that there was no fence at the time and he could see the property. I mean, I did listen to some of the videos. I did watch some of the videos from Travis and everything else. And I heard someone say the smell was atrocious. So if they were on that property and the smell was that bad, the cops and that CPS could have smelt that as well. That means there's an issue. It's a health issue or hygiene or like a hazard. Okay, and there was one video that Biscuit Boy put up where the little one was actually standing on top of the septic hill.
Yeah, she plays on the leach field. We call that a leach field, and she plays on leach field. Right. I mean, all I can tell you is I wouldn't let my kid do it.
I mean, considering, yeah, I mean, with all the thing going on about the child's health, now, obviously, I can't say much on it because I don't know, but I'm only going by what's being said. The fact that she's got like a pipe in her belly and she's got like an illness and stuff like that, that child should be, it should be nowhere near that property, let alone running around and sitting on a chair on top of a fucking leach field. That child should be in a healthy environment. Do you call that caravan or that shed, the state they were in, do you call that healthy? That whole property is richly a cesspool. And the fact that up in Northport, when people started to question her, she did exactly the same thing that she did in all the other places she lived in Florida. She packed up and left and done a runner.
Because I've talked to the people, quite a few people in Northport. I've spoken to them, and the exact same thing that's happening now is the same thing that was happening there. She had issues with her neighbors there at Northport.
Yep. And it was all about the turtles as well.
Yep. And there was issues there, and the issues with John and his temper and stuff. And so, I mean, it's not like it's a one-of. It's a continuous thing. It's something that's happened quite often. Now, that being said,
say hi back to Mark. Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, and that being said, I mean, there's always two sides to every story, and I know she's got her own story. But I've been in this woman's head. I have went far back in her history. I know how she thinks. I know how she processes things. Once you go and learn somebody's history, and I don't mean just a little history. I mean, once you've spoken to family members, once you have spoken to people that have actually interacted with her, that have actually had to have issues with her, and once you hear the actual stories from these people, you realize that this thing with Jeremy, this is nothing. This is literally nothing. It's just that Jeremy's the first one to hold her accountable for what she's done. Everybody else has just been so glad to get her out of their lives that they've just walked away. And they've not tried to do anything. Jeremy's like me. And I admit this is a great fault of mine. I will admit it. I am very petty. If you come at me If you're mean to me, or you mistreat me, or you mistreat somebody in my family, I'm going to come at you, and I'm going to show everybody what a total fool you are.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy is that way. I will spend my last dollar to prove you wrong.
But the thing is, I mean, Jeremy's not Angel. Yeah, excuse me. I mean, there's things that he could have approached differently. But
I agree.
One thing that didn't surprise me is when George on the stream the other night stated, and I quote, when we had our lawyer send her that cease and desist, that there are the magic words, right? The cease and desist, and she ignored it. She chose to ignore it, and the issue is like everything that she's done from the moment I started getting involved, well, not involved, but interested in this story. Now, if I was a journalist, okay, this would be fucking front page news, because like we're talking about a person who's not. This is not just a one-off. This is multiple places in her life. I mean, like obviously you and I know about the Germany situation. We're not going to discuss that. Because obviously we've agreed not to.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And, we've also, we've agreed with, anyway. I mean, if hypothetically speaking, that from multiple different things that we know of, like if Germany or her husband who was in jail for unaliving someone, if we went into detail with that, people would actually then realize what person Lynette is. Mm-hmm. The fact that Lynette was able, and this is where I have to draw the line, when this whole adoption thing, the fact that, thank you, sweetheart. No, that's my pretty I'm talking to. Yes, I know. I heard the voice. All right. The fact that this whole adoption thing, just because it was the pandemic, the whole thing made no sense. It made no sense whatsoever. There were no home checks. There were no checks whatsoever. Okay. Now, as far as I am aware, when you adopt someone, there is a period where they come and check where you live, what environment you live in. So here's my question: where did she live when this adoption was going on? Was it Northport or down in Otter Creek? Second thing is, this is not the only time that she's tried, she's adopted HG, but it's not the only time that she's tried to adopt children.
Correct. Now that is the truth. The thing is, see, with a private adoption, you don't have to jump through all those hoops. A private adoption means my best friend is having a baby and she doesn't want it, so I'm going to adopt it. So I just go to my attorney and they draw up the paperwork. The mother and dad sign the paperwork. I sign the paperwork. I take the baby home. It was private. Now, if I'm a foster parent registered with the state, a child is placed in my home and I am state governed. So somebody comes out and checks my house just like they would with anything else. They come out and check. They check on the child periodically.
Yeah.
They keep track of school records, all this stuff. They keep track of all that. And then I have the option, after they've been in my home as a foster child for a certain amount of time, I have the option at that point to petition to adopt that child. And I go through the state to adopt that child.
Right.
They circumvented that by doing a private adoption. They circumvented the whole state's influence by doing a private adoption. They circumvented that. And that's how it happened the way that it did. Because if she knew she went through the state, it'd never happen. She knew it would never happen. That's why she had to get guardianship first, and then she got adoption. That's the way the private adoption thing works.
I mean, do you know, there are people on Facebook that definitely need to seek professional help. But anyway,
are you talking about me now?
No. No, the thing is, like, this is why I always say to people, look, if you're going to be in that Facebook group, post anonymously, all right? Because when you post anonymously, you're taking away any type of leverage, or hi Susie, you're taking away any type of leverage, and you're just basically making anyone who does post anonymously who talk shit, you're just taking away their spark. Right? And that way they'll either stop or they'll start becoming themselves and actually post themselves. But hey, who knows? Now, the biggest issue is when people actually post anonymously and they use AI to create their, and they must have spent a long time with that one. But going back to the fleas, we all know that they're lying. And here comes the thing. There are so many people on this bandwagon, and luckily I can't be accused of being a grifter or anything else. That's one thing I am happy about, because I've said why I don't monetize, and I'm going to wait, obviously. But the fact that these people, you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, Ewoks and Wookiees, members of the jury, Your Honor, is that every time these people go live, right, the views, the hours watched, and everything else, they are making money. Some people make money for the hate or toxicity and the drama. Some people make money, just by sitting on that. Okay, and the fact that they've lied through their teeth, and the fact that people actually believe in everything they say, everything they post, all their little minions going around and posting shit, and they're posting like they're richly responding in messages, and they're richly proving us right. As simple as that. And the thing is, there is a law when it comes under fair use, right? As long as it is for as a comment, criticism, journalistic investigation, or journalistic responses, or for education. And to be honest with you, tonight, all of this has been everything underlined. It's been educating. It's been journalistic. It's been and one thing I also need to mention about when it comes to journalistic information, Shara Michelle, she was on one side, and then lately she's been showing people factual truth. And every time she does that, the hate that she receives because she's showing actual proof. Now, I find it quite strange that when our oh, look at me, I've stopped taking my mental health medication and all that stuff. Jabba the Hoot, aka Super Dave, aka David Michael Tischendorf. His name is public. It's on the documents. The fact that he does do live streams, but not as many as he used to. I wonder why. Considering that he was one of the bum chums of the Fleas. They were all friends, and look at what's happened. The minute people started pointing out their lies and their bullshittery and everything else, look what's happened. They're not as much talkative now, are they? They're not sitting on the platforms with each other and throwing their weight around and pointing fingers and trying to poke people up now, are they?
No, but Lisa is going after Shara, and I think it's ridiculous. Every time Shara shows the actual truth, Lisa goes after her with a vengeance.
Yeah, because she's
I'm
afraid.
trying to give Shara credit. Shara is standing her own, and I'm so proud of Shara. She is doing such a good job by saying no to the people that are trying to push her around and trying to affect what her testimony is. And they're trying to manipulate anything she says and does. And Shara is saying no to it. She is standing up for herself, and not just herself, but every other woman, every other journalist, every other person out there that's speaking what they believe and showing proof of what they have. She's standing up for them. And Lisa's not going to take her down.
Yeah, Mark, you're right on that one. Now, here's a couple of things I want to point out. And this is from the walrus's mouth. Anyway. Right? Shara, she calls her Shara. I'm going to call her Shara, or Sarah Shara. Right? Shara, how long have you been working for Jeremy Helps? Why would you assume that? Have you got proof? Can you validate your accusation there? No, you can't. When did you decide to betray the trust of Michelle Preston? She never betrayed the trust of Michelle Preston, because it wasn't just about Michelle. It was about everything that was going on in Otter Creek. Okay? And she has the choice, if she so decides, to say, yep, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm still going to carry on with my story, but I don't want anything to do with this. And that's exactly what. And the fact that this woman, right, has been dragged through the suit, and I'm not going to hide the fact that I put up stuff about her as well, because I done research on her, on Bruce, on a lot of people, and I said what I wanted to say, and I could read it out right now if you want. But the fact of the matter is, I saw a change in her because I realized, now she's a journalist, right? She's a free speaker, and she saw what she didn't want to be involved in. She saw that, no, I don't want any involvement in this. This is not what I'm here for. And she decided to change her attitude towards the situation. Now, she has on multiple occasions proven without fail what actually went on. And there's a lot of other people out there who've done the same thing. But they still get attacked. They get threatened. They have their family members threatened. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about to a threat where, the police had to be involved. And good on her. I'm glad that she did that. Right? Because that person is probably going to end up with a lot of trouble. It takes a while for the investigation, but they'll find out who did that threat, and that person will go and have a lot of problems. But she has proven categorically what these people are like, and people still don't believe it. They still argue, say, no, that's not true. They show messages from these individuals, and they still question it. And that's why I'm glad I'm just commenting on giving my own opinion across, and not getting really into research and doing everything else like I did at the beginning. Because to be perfectly honest with you, it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless, because after a couple of months, you can see what these people are like, and it's pointless saying anything. Yeah, she was blind. I'll give you that. She was blind.
Yeah. And she admits she was. I mean, she admits it completely. She bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And the reason why she bought into it is the same reason that all these other people buying into it too. What's the main catalyst? What's the worm that they keep putting on the hook? It's the baby girl. Jeremy's filming over the fence. He's filming into this child's bedroom. There is no bedroom, people. It is not built yet. But yet, these people jumping on that. I'm sorry. These people are jumping on that because what better way? The signs. She could have said Jeremy's a liar. She could have said Jeremy's a cheat, but she didn't.
Nope.
She went toward the baby girl, because we all know, I'm a mother. Most of us here are parents and grandparents. What's the one thing we will not tolerate? And that is hurting an innocent child. And they're using that against us.
Sorry to say this, but the thing is, like, Shara is a mother, like you are. I'm a father. There's a lot of people sitting in this channel, in this stream right now, who are parents, one way or the other, male or female, doesn't matter. We are all parents, and we all care about that child in our own way. I mean, and the thing is, Shara is a mother, and the fact that this is why I say don't let emotions come into it. But all right, when it comes to children, we're all going to become emotional. We're all going to have that maternal instinct. All right, may you be male or female. Now, the fact that you've got this absolute clown of a human being writing all this shit out, and then, how much does Jeremy pay you? Are you paid by a cash check? Yeah, right. Or by bartering YouTube views and subscribers? I'll wait. Well, Chubby Chups, you can wait a long time, because the thing is, you said exactly the same about me.
And me too.
Yeah, you accused me for working for Jeremy Hells. Let me tell you something. I have never, ever spoken to Jeremy Hells in any shape or form. I have no interest of working for him in any shape or form. Right? I consider him just like a normal human being. If he came in my stream right now and said, hello, Spawn Trooper, I'd go, hello, Mr. Hales. Right? Because that's sort of the way I would address him. I may be naming him by first name, but if he came in here, I would address him as Mr. Hales until he told me otherwise. Right? He is a human being on YouTube, right? He does storage and coin, does storage stuff and coin stuff, right? And that's how I came across him. I'm a fan of his. However, I put that fandom to one side when I saw what was going on. And as an individual human being, I looked at both sides, and at the end of the day, he is being dragged. He is systematically being dragged into the dirt for standing up for himself, for standing up for his rights, for protecting not just himself, but his partner, right, and his business. And look what these people have done. Not one of them has shown any type of positive input in regards of anything. None of them have turned around and said, you know what, in certain aspects we have been wrong. So on that aspect, that we apologize. But that's never happened. The fact that that Lisa Fleabag, right, said that she was a mod for him and that she worked in the music industry and all that shit, okay, she has had a personal vendetta and a grudge against Jeremy from way before Lynette Preston and John Cook got in any way, shape or form got involved in all this. Way before. Do your research, ladies and gentlemen. You'll find out very quickly what I'm talking about. What she's doing is using Lynette and John Cook and this whole court situation for her own purpose. Right? Mm-hmm. And people don't either see it or don't want to see it. Now, Shara, do you see her online every 5 minutes going on about all this? Do you see her doing any? She will put up when she needs to put up stuff to correspond in what the daily topic is about. She won't come on every 5 minutes. She will put up information and facts, proof, receipts, evidence of the topic of the day. So, and there you go. That's the way it is. And I'm sorry that some people don't like my opinion or people don't like the fact that what's going on. But let me tell you something right now, right? It's not just about Jeremy Hales, George, Lynette, John. There's a shitload of other people involved in this. People who've been dragged into this for no reason whatsoever, just for the sake of one person who decided to throw the shit at the fan and then duck and see where the shit went. All right, and that's Bruce Matskin. All right, he came into this, all right, and then put up the 2 frivolous court lawsuits that could have changed the dynamics of everything you believe in regards of every single platform that exists. X, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, freaking Rumble, you name it, right? It would have been a groundbreaking court case. Mm-hmm. All right. And these people have to sit there and then offer the other side of the cheek because like this, this buddy thing down in Florida, it seems like the courts don't give a shit. And hopefully this judge here, right, and including Judge Davis, I hope they both pick up the biggest fucking book they can find and throw it at these people. Some of these individuals deserve to be in jail for what they've done. Not just to Jeremy Hales, right, or to George, but also Deanna, Rattus, Brett, Madam Mayor, Travis, Lloyd, to that woman who was in the car, to that child who was in that car that day. I don't give a shit about Wes, about everyone who got dragged into this. And I hopefully people will actually come and actually listen to what's being said in this stream tonight and actually come to some sense and realize what's happening here. The fact that a 5-year-old child has basically been the last thing on anyone's fucking topic. But let me tell you something right now. HG deserves the attention, a lot of it. Not in a grift way, not in an abusive way or negative way. She deserves every positive remark you can think of. That child deserves to be in an environment where she is treated with the respect, the love, and she can live in a hygienic and a warm and safe environment. So, Lisa, when you listen to this, get the fucking receipts out. Let's see some transparency. I know that you won't do it. And we all know that you're lying about the £56,000, dollars, whatever, yen, fucking, whatever. Right? We know that you're lying for your teeth. And you've got your little side buddy, Tori, helping you out. I'm surprised that Robbie wasn't on your stream. I personally think that the IRS and the feds should get involved, but that's my opinion. And ladies and gentlemen, may I just point out that my voice, my pretty's voice, and I and everything in this stream is our intellectual property. And no, you don't have the right to copy it unless you ask for permission. On that note, all right. Final words, my pretty. Before we go into question time.
Just always, remember everybody, just like my mama said, believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. You need to investigate it. You need to look at it. You need to come up with your own opinion. Don't listen to what I tell you. Don't listen to what Lisa tells you. Don't listen to what Jeremy tells you or Spawn. Come up with your own opinion by looking at things on your own. And just, keep fighting. You got to fight for what's right. And that's what Jeremy's doing. And if anything, it's showing us that you don't have to sit there and let people take advantage of you. So it's definitely a big thing to me.
And just one more thing I want to add to that. Guys, don't be hateful. Don't be negative. Don't be toxic. If you've got proof or evidence, Jeremy said, send it to him. But if you have an opinion and you want to make that opinion on the hate group, wherever you want to make it, and you have an opinion, think before you speak. Think before you speak, and speak only when you've thought of what you want to say, and make sure it's constructive. It has to be constructive. I know that everyone's got an opinion, but it needs to be constructive, because if it's not constructive, it causes negative environment, it causes arguments, and that's when shit hits the fan. Now, what's that message? I need to go later. You're beautiful, blessing, you're all special blessing to. Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you at Texas Alien. You be good and you take care of yourself.
Yes, thank you, Texas.
On that note, I am really glad that some of you, have been discussing this amongst yourselves while I haven't been paying attention. I do apologize for not paying attention, but sometimes you need to get this shit off your chest, because I'm speaking as a foreigner. I'm speaking as someone from a different country, observing what's going on. And I know that common sense is a very, very, very difficult fucking speciality to find in shops and stores and stuff like that. You can order it on Amazon, by the way, $9.99.
Yeah, it ain't quite so common anymore.
All I ask is people use some common sense. And if you do know people who go into their streams and want to give them money, talk to those people and say, look, step out the box, look at what's going on, right? Because the amount of times they have messed up, yeah. And the fact that Levy County Sheriff's Department and the CPS down there don't know their assholes from their elbows. Something needs to be done, right? And I don't mean that everyone starts calling people and no, I don't want anyone to contact anybody, right? And I mean that. No one contact anybody at any time. Just use some common sense. Right. Now, on that note, we are going... Oh, we've bypassed the coffee time. Right, guys. So, fire questions. And if you do want to ask me a question, make sure it's at and then click on the name, Spawn Trooper, and then ask your question. And the same thing for my pretty. Obviously, I've dragged my pretty in here because of certain things that were said. And, she knows a little bit more about the situation than I do. But there will be another stream at some point in the next few days where my pretty and I will be going through our normal routine. And we may have a special guest star on just for probably 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Just because, yeah, I got put a gun against my head, so I have to do it. No. Oh, that person's going to fucking hate that comment.
Oh, you know it. You know you in trouble now.
You're in trouble. You're going to get shot. You're in trouble. Yeah, I know.
You just putting your foot in it. See, you hurt your foot, and now you're putting it in it.
May as well put it in. I can't feel the fucking thing now. So yeah, ask away, guys. Please feel free to ask questions. There's quite a few in here, and I like to appreciate all the newcomers. Thank you very much, and welcome to the stream, and welcome to the platform. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself, and sometimes you'll hear things that you may not like. 1 second. Oh yeah. Sometimes you may not hear what you like, but the thing is, sometimes that's part of life. You just have to. Oh shit. Okay, Gail. I knew that. I was surprised that you didn't hit that freaking question mark first before. Yeah. At Spawn Trooper and My Pretty, do you think people will turn them over to the IRS? I'll answer first, and then My Pretty can answer. To be perfectly honest with you, if that does happen, then that's nothing to do with us. That is then up to whoever individual does that. That's up to them. Yeah, there you go. My Pretty.
Do I think people will do it? Probably. Yeah, they'll do it. I can't tell somebody what to do. I can only say that I haven't done that. But yes, I do believe people will do that because people get tired of the mess and they feel like that's the only way they can get justice served is to get people looking into different things. So yeah, I do believe they'll do it. But I'm not encouraging anyone to do it, and I'm not doing it.
Not my place.
That's all I can say. Right.
Yeah,
it's
not
it's not my pasture, not my bullshit.
Spawn and My Pretty, do you? All right, Joseph, typical. Spawn and My Pretty, do you think that the Department of Justice will get involved? Do you want to answer that one first, and I'll give you mine?
Sure. I doubt it very, very seriously. I doubt it very, very seriously. Yes, we think that these departments are there to do this and do that, but do I think it's going to happen in this case? No, I don't. I don't think it's a big enough case for it to happen in. It's not going to happen. We talk about it, we joke about it, we say yes, it should happen, but no, I don't see that happening at all.
I mean, my opinion is this: with everything that's going on in your country right now, politically and everything else, this is nothing. This is not even anywhere close to the radar. Unless it's governmental department level, like the CPS or the police, and it's federal level, then maybe something could be done, and the Department of Justice will then get involved. I mean, the fact that, like, if we look at the threats made to DJ Rattus in regards of ICE and everything else, I mean, technically, if he puts a complaint in on the federal level, inciting, I mean, I don't know if that's a terroristic threat or something like that, but making false claims and false allegations against someone who's legally allowed to be in the country in the first place. I'm not sure how that will go down, but I don't know. I don't live in America. I don't know that much about the systems over there. Right, Kim Colson. What happens to the case if Bruce runs for Jeremy? I think Jeremy. I'll go first on this one. I think Jeremy has already explained that in his stream. I think the federal courts will then deal with everything, and then basically, if he don't do a runner, I don't think that'll change the outcome of the court case, because if he does a runner, if he leaves the country or something like that, there'll just be a federal arrest for him. So if he ever comes back, he'll get nicked. Well, I assume, but I'm not sure. And to be honest with you, Bruce is nothing. Bruce has already dug himself such a hole. He's not going to get out of this now. Had he responded to the judge in regards of not turning up because of the sanctions in a proper professional way, I mean, look at MLS's lawyer who is in communication with Randy Sockett. Look at the communication they've had. They've even spoken on the phone. It was professionally written. It was professionally done. There was absolute 100% professional conduct going on between MLS's lawyer and Jeremy. But that's a different subject. But when it comes to Bruce, I think Jeremy is going to win. He's going to win anyway, but it'll just make it a quicker win. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome to Stream Show. My Pretty?
Yeah. At that point, if Bruce was to do something like that, it would become a Bruce problem. and it wouldn't really affect Jeremy at all. The case would still go forward. It would still be in the courts. It would still be heard in the same time it's supposed to be heard. The only difference is Bubbles would have a target on his back at that point.
A legal target.
And yeah, illegal. Yeah, exactly. Illegal to, legally that they would be going after him for that. But as far as Jeremy's case itself goes, it would just continue as it's doing right now, just like it's going to continue whether Bubbles stays on as the attorney or doesn't. It doesn't stop the case from going forward. It just has put a little hold on everything to try to be fair to, Lynette and John so that they can acquire different representation since theirs has quit or been fired or whatever happened. He, wanting to be the
well, the judge hasn't dismissed him yet, so he's still represented. Right. The next one is from Joseph. Spawn and my. Oh, wait a minute. Was there another one? No, there wasn't. Anyone has to be sacked in 50 days. Yeah. Anyway, Spawn and my pretty. Do you the Fed judge will? Do you think? I assume that you meant. Do you think the federal judge will make Deuce Boy turn over his passport? My pretty. Do you want to go for that one first?
Yeah, no, not yet. He's not going to do that yet because at this point, y'all got to remember, we know everything that's going on. Okay, we know that he went to Armenia before when all this stuff happened with the Connecticut and everything. So see, we know these things. That judge doesn't. If it doesn't cross his desk in a legal filing, he knows nothing about it. So he doesn't have the information that you or I or Spawn has. He's not able to make that determination. And that's a good thing because he's not influenced by other people's opinion. He's just influenced by the evidence that's submitted to him. So at this point, no, I don't think that they'll make him turn over his passport. I don't think it's even gotten to that part yet. I don't think it's even gotten close to that yet. I can't say in the future that won't happen, but as of right now, I mean, no.
My opinion is this: Bruce is a lawyer, and there's a lot of lawyers out there that mess up the way he's done. That ended up in a situation that he's in now, and to consider them a flight risk is ridiculous. Now, if he does leave the country to get away from payments and stuff like that, basically, the judge will then just turn around and say, right, okay, he's got a bench warrant. That warrant is open. If he ever sets foot back in the United States, done. Who knows? See, it's up to the judge, but that's going to the extreme about having his passport removed. It's I don't know, but I think the only time that happens if you are high class case, if it's RICO, really high RICO, or it's terroristic or something like that. Where's the next one? I don't think he's in America. I think he's already. I don't think he's left. He's still here. He's still in the States. I want LP to play attorney. Oh God, no. I don't think magistrate will. I never pan out the favour of the lawyer being bigger. Fantastic. His client, no mark, it'd be a nightmare. Right. Are there any more questions, guys, for myself or for my pretty or for both of us? It's been an absolutely fantastic stream. Everyone. Do you know one thing I really enjoyed about tonight's stream is that people have discussed different things, had conversations with each other, and they're responding to what we were discussing. And the fact that some of these questions are really, really good questions. Here you go, Joseph. Do you think the judge will allow BBB to withdraw? I don't think I don't think he's going to allow him to withdraw until he's fulfilled his obligations for the sanctions, and because obviously he's responded in the way he's responded. The judge now technically can now put him through the ringer, not just because he's lied in his responses, but he's also made allegations and he's also made false police reports. Because to be honest with you, no one's threatened him. I've never heard anyone threaten Deuce Boy. I mean, I've continued to say that he will lose his license, his legal license to practice law, and that he should get a job as a janitor in a mine or somewhere. But he is fabricating lies. And I hope this judge, if Randy Sockett showed him some evidence, I hope this judge decides to go, do you know what? I'm young enough, I'm clever enough, I'm going to start looking at these videos and then looking at the bigger picture. And here's one thing that Bubbles probably might want to expect is that this judge, technically, he has certain levels. It's just like you got the 5-level contact, right? Is right now he's at the point he's pointing his gat at the target, all right, and then you've got 2 left. You can have a warning shot or direct contact. All right, that means you shoot at the target. All right, so not 99% of the time a warning shot is usually a flare or something that goes pop and makes lots of noise and looks scary. The judge, if he decides to do this, he can hit Bruce with sanctions that will come out of his ears. I mean, it could be monetarily, it could be anything. And if Bruce then decides to go, no, I can't pay that, blah, blah, blah. And, the last resort, and this hasn't happened yet, right? This hasn't happened yet, is that the judge can then put out a bench warrant for his arrest, and then Bruce will be in contempt of the court, and he'll end up spending 90 days or 60 days or whatever, how many days they can give someone for his conduct and behavior and everything else. And at the same time, the judge can also legally contact the boards of Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Florida and send them a statement in the effect. And it'll look like that Bruce will lose his license to practice law. And the fact that Bruce has made his wife his legal manager, right? Has she got a law degree? Has she studied law? Is she a pro what they call them? Paralegal, stuff like that. And this tells me that he is trying to, I mean, is he going to turn around and blame his wife for this? I mean, speculative, allegedly. I mean, we don't know. She's now the manager of his LLC,
Well, I think that he may let him off the case, and I'll tell you why. Because I believe Bruce is going to lose his pro hoc vice, and therefore he's going to be off the case from that alone.
Yeah.
Because now, if he was an attorney in Florida, practicing attorney in Florida, I believe the judge may look at things differently. But as of right now, I got a feeling his pro hoc vice is going out the window. And what Bubbles is trying to do is he's trying to stop that from happening. Because see, if he gets his pro hoc vice suspended or whatever it's called, revoked. If he gets it revoked, I do believe, don't quote me on this, but I do believe that goes towards him ever being a pro hoc vice attorney in another state. Because I think one of the questions they ask you is, have you ever had your pro hoc vice revoked?
I totally forgot about that.
So that's where I believe that's where the justification is going to come into it. That's why he's trying to get off the case so quick. And the fact that, of course, he's on the line for sanctions because he's going to pay that money. Let's say he gets a $4,000 sanction just like Randy did. You think Bruce is going to strike a check? Come on. He is bitching about a $200 or $300 plane trip and a $100 a night motel room. He going to strike a check for $4,000?
Yeah.
Common sense doesn't apply, but he doesn't want that revocation of that pro hoc vice on his record.
Oh, there's a bloody good question for you. Obviously, a couple of more questions and then we're going to call it night. It's at my pretty. How many people are going to be mentally affected in a negative way? But can I say something to that question? And that's from Gail. I think quite a few people, especially Lloyd, Jeremy, George, Deanna, Travis, Madam Mayor, Brett, anyone who's been in direct contact with these individuals are going to have mental health issues. It may anxiety, or they're going to have issues sleeping at night because of all the stresses and the toll it's taken on, especially Jeremy and George. I mean, we saw the natural reaction from Jeremy when there was a health scare for George, and George had to go to Ohio to get medical treatment or to get checkups, and we saw the natural response of Jeremy, and that even made me a little bit emotional to see someone who's been dragged through the shit to have to put up with that as well, and the thing is it's definitely going to have affect these two for quite a while to come, even when all this court case and everything is done and over with. Jeremy and George it's going to take a long time for them to get back into the way they were before this, in regards to trusting other people, trusting the people around them. And, that's why their circle of friends is very small. They've only got a small circle of people around them. Because I have not seen any new faces around them for a long time. Pretty? You're...
Oh, yeah. To be honest with you, we all are. Every one of us that is involved in this in any way, shape, or form, even as a spectator, our outlook on people has changed. There's been friendships that have been forged. There's been friendships that have been lost, all because we follow this story and we're involved in it. So I think we all have been affected. I know I have, because now I question things that I normally would have just accepted. Now I don't take people at their word like I used to. I immediately think they could have an ulterior motive. So honestly, I think we all are getting affected, but I think the one that's going to be affected the most out of all of this is a sweet little baby that one day is going to grow into a teenager, and she's going to Google her name, just like I, at 54 years old, have Googled my name. And when she does, she's going to see all of this. And then she's going to see what happened and what transpired. And as she doesn't know what's happening right now, she will know one day down the road. And I hate that for her the most.
There is a reason I didn't mention her in what I said, because it's that I think, like, after all this, I mean, I've even neglected my decompress, playing games to decompress, because for me as a father, I mean, I'm not going to get emotional here, but I'm going to be very forward and assertive in this way. When my daughter was that age, she had all the protection and every single bit of protection she could get. She had the support, she had the love, she had she had everything she needed and more. And the fact that, like, I think in the future to come, if the child is not cared for correctly, or if people don't step in to deal with this once and for all, that child is going to turn out to be an absolute wreck, psychologically and physically. Will not. I mean, the biggest issue right now, she's 5 years old, and she has no social interaction with any children of her own age or around her. Right, she is like basically a prisoner in that environment. And the fact is, there's a lot of people out there who, they sit there and go, oh, hate she this, hate she that, but they don't realize, if you're not a parent, you won't understand. But if you are a parent, every single person in here who is a parent knows exactly what I am talking about. Right? Because it's one of those things where you just can't mess about. You just can't mess about. And the thing is, like I said, Jeremy and George are going to suffer. HG is going to suffer twofold, because obviously she's fairly young, and the thing is, she's going to have this Stockholm syndrome type of lifestyle, because, like, she's so used to what's going on around her, right? She's going to believe everything that comes out of Lionette's mouth, no matter what it is. And when you get older, children look up at you and they listen to you, and if they don't copy you, they'll listen to you. Right, and it's how you teach your child to grow up. You are educating them on every day they live until they're old enough to think for themselves. They look at you. And if you are a person who, if we take Lynette's behavior, then just imagine how that child's going to turn out when that child is 10. And this is why I said months ago, Lynette is 63 years old. That child is 5. Lynette is going to be 73 years old when that child is 15. Do you seriously think on this planet, anyone in this stream or listening to the stream, do you seriously think Lynette is going to be able to control a 15-year-old? And the only way,
Heck, I couldn't hardly do it at 30.
and the only way she will be able to control that child is if it is based psychologically around the Stockholm syndrome, because the Stockholm syndrome means that the captive person then becomes emotionally involved with the captor. Right.
Unfortunately, that's very true. Helium asked, do we think that if his pro hoc vice is revoked, would it affect his court case in Connecticut? I touched on that earlier. My understanding is the court case is this month in Connecticut, and I'd be willing to put money on the fact that's why he didn't show up in court on the 3rd, because if that happened and he had gotten his pro hoc vice revoked on the 3rd, it could very well have affected the case that he has got going on later on this month.
Yeah, Juliet's got a good point. I mean, yeah. Do you know what? Before, I mean, we've been live over 3.5 and coming up to 4 hours now. I'm quite surprised that we've been here this long. I mean, then again, it is a very serious topic, and I think we did really quite well, actually. And thank you very much for coming on, by the way.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
But one thing I want to say is, when my daughter went to school, within a couple of days of her going to school, at first she was quite scared, and obviously the tears and everything else, and teachers phoning me up an hour later, and stuff like that. And one thing I can tell you right now, it takes children a while to get used to their environment, especially when they go to a new school, the smell, the environment, everything else. And after a while, the child, children make friends with each other very quickly. But the older they get, they start to realize, oh, I don't want to be friends with so-and-so, or I don't want to be, and that's it. If HG doesn't go to a school and she's homeschooled, then I can tell you one thing, and touch wood, this doesn't happen, but it'll be like talking to a drone. Children need interaction. Children need to fall over and hurt themselves to learn. Children need to experience the good and the bad. Right? And children are, and as long as they got protective and good parents who will educate them, right? A child will grow up exactly the way all of us have grown up. Yes, none of us are perfect. Some of us caused problems in school. We had fights in school. We had relationships in school, and God knows what else. Right? But the important thing is the child's, interaction with other children.
Right. It will make a difference for her, and I hope that she does get that one day. I really do, because you need that as a child. I mean, my first child, when he started school, he looked at me and said, "Bye, I love you," and was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he never looked back. I lost my mind, of course, because I was a stay-at-home mom. I'd had him all that time. My daughter, again, I got to be a stay-at-home mom. She, of course, did the exact same thing. Obviously, they just wanted to leave me. She was just like, "Bye, see you later. I'm okay."
I mean, like, the thing is, I'm not, obviously, I'm going to go into age and stuff like that, but my daughter right now is a veterinarian, and she has just completed her zoology veterinary. So that means she can now not just work with any normal animal, but she can now work with animals that, like lions, tigers, elephants, giraffes, and stuff like that. Well, she said that lions, tigers, and other cats and
bears.
And the thing is, like, she's also, just for the record, just so you know, if you ever do, which you never probably will, but if you ever do meet my daughter, watch out, because she does have a black belt. I made absolutely sure when she was old enough to be able to start going into martial arts. So, so just But one thing I do want to say before we come to an end, I do want to never point out, hi, Sark Mitch, just the person I wanted to talk about. Now, I have put a link at the top, and Sark Mitch is here, so hi there, fella. All right, go and check out that link. It is a GoFundMe link for Sark Mitch. He's not asking for much. He's just asking for help and support. And please, if you want and can, please support and help him. All right. But the link's there and it's entirely up to you. And on another note, guys, everything in the stream tonight is our opinion, our observational opinions, right? From knowledge of what we got over the last months. Yeah. I know a lot of people are not going to agree. I know a lot of people are going to be, they're 100% the fleas and stuff. Wait, okay. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not an American. I don't live in America. And, I don't live there day in and day out and know what's going on over there. But one thing I can say is that I hope that this situation gets done properly and it's done legally. And at some point, the CPS will come to the realization, yeah, we do need to go down there. We need to check on the child. Right, because it's very easy to say, oh, my child's got this, my child's got that. I know a lot of people privately, right, and I know a lot of things about their children and about them, right, because that's how we communicate, all right. And I can tell you right now, yeah, that the CPS needs to do something about this. They need to get in there because I think there's a discrepancy in the adoption. Yeah. And on the other note, in regards to the KRAMPONS and swamp lizard, all right, I definitely think that it's only a matter of time before the law knocks on their door. I'm not telling anyone to contact anybody at any time. You do not have the right to do that, and I don't. I think that that probably ordered in the pipeline with the federal cases and the lawsuits. I think the lawsuits will cover that. But I just want to say it was out of the blue that I brought my pretty on because obviously I needed it in regards of the conversation that. And all I can say is this, okay, be nice to each other, guys. Be positive. And remember, step out of the box and look at this from a different angle because you'll realize that you're being taken for a run by those people, right? And Jeremy and George need that support. They need that moral support. They don't deserve what they've been through for the last year and a half. All right. I'm not saying they're perfect, right? But they don't deserve the shit they went through. And the fact that someone ignored a cease and desist. And in fact, who I had received two, one in Northport and one down here. So on that note, guys, I'm going to say goodnight. My pretty, do you want to say go?
Yeah, good night, well, it's actually not nighttime for us. We live in the real world over here. So it's just good afternoon, everybody. It's just good afternoon, everybody. And look, guys, if you ever want to come hang out with me over in Facebook, it's Otter Creek Tube Town. Come hang out. I post court paperwork. We have fun, we poke jokes, but no matter what your opinion is, you're welcome, whether you think that Lynetta's right or Jeremy's right, as long as you express your opinion respectfully to each other, everyone is welcome, and we have a lot of fun. We play some games, we have some fun, so you guys are welcome to come and join anytime. Again, it's Otter Creek Tube Town.
And one other thing I need to point out, I totally forgot to mention this. John Cook has apparently had multiple operations on knee replacements, correct?
He's had two replacements I know of. He had one done, then the other.
So why doesn't he have a zipper scar on his leg? A full-length zipper scar on his leg. Because if you had any operations, you will have scars on your leg. I mean, do you want to walk up and take a picture of his leg? Oh, fuck no.
No, I'm not getting that close. That ain't happening.
May I use the satellite to use? Anyway, but again,
Google Earth.
Google Earth. That'd be funny as fuck. Oh, look, there's a little scar. Yeah, but anyway, guys, have a good night. And like I said, thank you very much for being here, my pretty.
Thanks for having me.
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you on the other means in a minute because also.
Okay.
But one thing I'm going to say is thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Thank you very much for all the newcomers, and remember to hit that like button, and remember to hit the bell. I don't know if the notifications are working or not. I mean, welcome to YouTube. And on that note, ladies, you've got a choice. You can hear my new song that I was gifted by. If I can find it, 1 second. Wait a minute. Shit, where did it go? Oh. Hang on a second. Please hold. Your call's important to me. I need to find it now. You can hear my new Jamaican song, or you can hear where is it? Is it that one? Yeah, it's that one. Right. So do you know what? Who cares? Right. Anyway, my pretty is gone. So here comes here comes my outro. I probably might use this as an outro.
This one goes out to all the daffodil warriors, all the brethren in Swansea, in Wrexham, in Merthyr, to Port Talbot. Beat up yourself. Spawn rally come to mash up Babylon with some proper Welsh reggae. See,
right, we'll start.
This one goes out to all the daffodil warriors. All the brethren in Swansea, in Wrexham, in Merthyr Tydfil, from Penwet Farm to Port Talbot. Beat up yourself. Spawn rally come to mash up Babylon with some proper Welsh reggae. See, whoa, tidy vibes from the hillside, son. Spawn trooper know the reggae man. Coal dust clear, the fire's begun. Spawn rally some rules, Irish son. He once rode the valleys in his army gear. Now he chants with the sheep and a dragon near. From the pubs to the coast, he's spreading cheer. And the bass line rolling like a pond to beer. He said, bagpipes, now I've got a dub plate. And I swap my shield for a ganja crate. Now the miners sing in harmony while he stank by the harp in sweet unity. Spawn Molly, a reggae man with the Welshman pride. Spawn Molly, shout you a love down the break outside. Spawn Molly, from the castle ruins to the Dupton line. Spawn Molly, he blessing Babylon with valley might. My Holland is glad you just a minute glass. Spawn Molly downs, you fell staring or ass. Dim oven, got drag me